play from this epic season.
High fly to right field. That one's got a chance. That one is gone. It's a chop shot.
Atlanta Braves baseball back again on the Boston Carolina Country. WHS Shelby, WLON Lincolnton, WCSL Cherryville, Gastonia. The strawberries are in at Spake Farms in Shelby. Big, red, delicious, juicy, sweet strawberries. Great for ice cream, pies, on cake, or just to eat by themselves. Pick them yourself or get them already picked. Spake Farms, Highway 150 East, a quarter mile above the YMCA in Shelby. The strawberries are waiting for you now at Spake Farms in Shelby. It's time to head to the Great Outdoors. Not there, over here. The Great Outdoors in Cherryville. The Great Outdoors in Cherryville is expanding. Soon they'll be opening a big new showroom for the line of boats, including Sea Arc and Blazer boats, powered by Mercury and Suzuki engines. And don't forget about their service department. The Great Outdoors in Cherryville can service all makes and models of boats and engines. So head on over to the Great Outdoors, the one in Cherryville. The Great Outdoors, 112 North Cherry Street off Highway 150 right behind McDonald's. They don't have good deals. Their deals are great. Get ready for Father's Day with a stop at Hometown Hardware in Kings Mountain. Howard Elmore says, come on in. They've got some great gift ideas, like those Traeger grills, along with the Traeger pellets, cooking accessories, rubs, and sauces. Also case knives, Husqvarna blowers and trimmers, Lodge cookware, and much, much more. It's a big old toy box for Dad. That's Hometown Hardware, 110 South Railroad Avenue, downtown Kings Mountain.
Good morning. I'm Kevin Hastings. Saturday morning sports talk with Terry Reinhardt. We got a bunch of special guests in the studios tonight. Terry. We kicked everybody out, the normals. We didn't want them here, so we got no Hunter, no Tom, no Phillip. My golf experts, I even tried to call them in, and they're too busy doing other things.
Too busy playing golf today.
Bed Bath & Beyond on a Saturday or something like that. I'm not sure exactly what they're doing. But they've got things to do. We've got a busy weekend and week ahead on KTC. We had NASCAR racing last night on KTC, and we've got NASCAR All-Star race tonight as well. We've got more and more Atlanta Braves baseball. Legion baseball kicks off tomorrow night. We've got high school baseball playoffs, a big matchup coming up this week, maybe the biggest ever in Lincoln County. Maybe, Terry, we'll talk about that in a few minutes. I got a whole list of things to go down. We've got Shelby Golden Line, a golf tournament. We've got Major League Baseball. And with all this stuff, Terry, we got to talk about today. There's so much baseball. We got Mr. Baseball himself. Ken Link's in the house to join us. Welcome, Ken. Good morning.
Good morning to everybody.
Glad to have you,
and
Ken.
Every Saturday, Ken, before we get started, we got to talk about our biscuits and breakfast that we had from Mitchem's Kitchen. I had a chicken, egg, and cheese biscuit. Terry, what'd you have today?
I had bologna liver mush on a bun with some mayo.
And I had a country ham and egg biscuit, and a young man over there had a whole bunch of pancakes. I don't know what he did with all of them or not, Terry.
I didn't say no. When he ordered pancakes today, I didn't say anything to him.
That's the reason I did not need
I was just going to let him come in and see him. So, JP is in the house today. Say good morning, JP. What you eating on in there?
Oh, I mean, on a sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit.
Now, JP got here early enough today, so if you listen and are watching online, you see JP in the camera today. He got here early enough. JP, if you'll point the camera at your new partner in crime, we've got a new intern here in the house at KTC. Has joined us this morning, and put him on the mic there. We're going to talk to him for just a second, let him introduce himself. But we've got Peyton Warlick in the house. The hot dog man, Terry, he had a bucket of City Lunch hot dogs to deliver yesterday out at Hojo Power Sports, and he's going to go over to Nissan of Shelby today and help them give out some more hot dogs today. So he's the hot dog man right now. I want to introduce everybody on our morning show to our new intern from Gardner-Webb University, Peyton Warlick. Good morning, Peyton.
Good morning.
Now, Peyton, you just had your first. Well, I haven't looked at your play. I doubt you're through with them yet, as far as I know. Hunter is barely a little bit, maybe a few more pounds than you. And
They look the same.
But the thing about Hunter is that he's a Hoover vacuum when it comes to food. And he is. He's one of those metabolisms. He's a skeleton. He's a skeleton that just goes through it. Now, Peyton, do you eat like that, or are you a light eater?
Well, I mean, I try to, but obviously I'm pretty small, so I'm a very light eater.
All right. So Hunter he's really skinny and one of those people that pounds it. He'll look like a alien, and when he's 35 with that belly sticking out, probably he's pounding so much food.
Well, he just put 5 pounds on him eating them pancakes.
So Peyton, what did you tell? Let's talk about your breakfast this morning. The pancakes look bigger than your head.
Yeah, they were pretty big. I think I put like half of them down, and then I called it quits. They were big.
When I saw that and that come through, he wanted pancakes. I said, "Oh, okay."
See, and the reason I let it go is because I knew how much it would be. They're just huge folks from Mitchem's Kitchen, and he didn't say he wanted anything else with them, so I was just like, okay. So at least he's smart enough to maybe just to get just the pancakes right now. So we're gonna that I know that'll fill him up. So
yes,
I wasn't gonna worry about that. So we've got Peyton. Welcome to the show. He's gonna help us out. You'll see him here and there. He'll be at the Lincoln County games this week, tweeting out scores of WLON. And going over that. Let's do other things we've got to talk about today. JP, you can go ahead and turn him off for now. We'll get back to him. I'll ask you guys some other questions and stuff here in a little bit. We'll have JP's corner here in a little bit. How about that, JP? You want to talk about something? Okay, JP wants to talk about something, Terry. Now, Terry, we had the option, Terry.
Oh, Lordy.
Since none of the other announcers.
Oh, my God, we'll be in Star Wars or Revenger.
Terry, you might want to look at my cup.
That's the risk we take.
Holy mackerel.
It's pretty. I've got some trivia questions for you.
Did you win that, JP?
No, actually, a woman in my church actually makes those.
They make them.
Yeah, she actually makes those.
Your
cups.
church makes them.
Yeah. A woman from my church, the secretary at my church, makes those cups, and she actually made that for me.
See, Terry,
that's pretty.
It was made of love.
I'm glad she thought about you. She loves you to death, JP.
Pretty much.
Pretty much. Oh, gosh. All right. Saturday morning sports talk getting off to a good start here. Let me keep going down my list of things we got to talk about as well. We've got to talk about let's start with the Carolina Hurricanes. That just didn't come up at all when it come to Boston. We've got a lot of baseball to talk about this week. We've got Braves to talk about. We've got Terry. I know you're not on the Twitter, but we got me and Twitter. I made some Mike Trout fans mad this week on the internet. And I'm glad Ken's here for that discussion. He's a big WAR fan, aren't you, Ken? How does WAR add up? How many WAR did North Lincoln get last night?
I don't know.
How many WAR did the center fielder get last night in that game?
Well, like I say,
in the stat book,
we don't get into those kind of analytics there in high school.
I'm just wondering where you write that down at, though, in the stat book. Have you ever seen that in the stat book, Terry?
Well, that's never in a stat book, but I guarantee there's some coach somewhere that uses that. Yeah. I mean, they are.
It's just a silly thing to me. So I made a bunch of people mad on Twitter this week with a few comments. I didn't even say anything. And here's the thing about it. And everybody calls you a hater today, Ken. I can't say one guy is better than another without someone saying I think the other guy sucks or isn't any good. And that's not what I mean. You can say one guy's good and the other guy's great, can't you? I mean, if you're arguing, Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig, just because I think one's better than the other doesn't mean I think the other one's bad.
Yeah. It just side note here. I play fantasy baseball. I've been playing it a long time. I'm on 2 teams. And, you have a snake draft, which means that you give the draft order and it's random. Mm-hmm. And once you pick, it reverses it. For example, if I got the first pick, after you go down, say we've got 10 teams, after you go through 10, I don't have 11th pick.
Got the 20th.
I got the 20th. Okay? So, in those, I never want the first pick. I never want to, because you got to wait too long. Well, one of my teams this year, I drew the first pick. And I'm sitting there and I go, I really don't want to take Trout. I'd rather go with maybe Yelich or somebody like that. But I took Trout. I'm kicking myself in the butt because Yelich's going nuts. Trout, he's just struggling along a little bit. I'm not a big Trout fan, and I'm certainly not a Bryce Harper fan. I think both of those, especially Harper, is really overrated. But we can get into baseball a little bit more.
We will. And what's weird to me about the stats, and we kind of talk about it all the time, Ken, is that they value walks so much.
They do.
And they devalue strikeouts when on a baseball field, striking out is the worst thing you can do. Like,
because you can't do anything positive for your team when you strike out.
Even if you pop one up, that's better than a strikeout because somebody could drop it.
Somebody's got to make a play. Yeah.
Right. So the whole and we've got a lot to talk about in baseball. I'll get into that. All right. So we got NBA playoffs to talk about. 2-0 and both series, the one seeds both won at home, and so in the NBA they say it doesn't start till someone wins in the other court or gets to Game 7.
Draymond Green needs nobody.
Oh gosh, Ken! Welcome to Saturday mornings. I don't know how much you listen to this silliness when you're not in, but Terry is a diehard Draymond Green is the reason they're the champions. A fan, and I like to point out his 7 points and 7 rebounds a game that he averages could be done by anyone.
Gotta have a junk player.
So
well, he's the type of guy that steps up when you need him, and he did in that second game.
He'll kick somebody in between the legs when he needs him, won't he, Terry?
To win a championship.
He ain't kicked anybody in a year or two, as far as I remember. Somebody can maybe correct me on that, folks. If you're listening on today,
he went through therapy.
On W Therapy. If you listen today in Lincolnton on 107.5 FM, 1050 AM, and also in the Cherryville area at 92.3 FM, 1590 AM. We're also on YouTube, so if you're watching on YouTube, you can listen on the radio if you're out in your car. Also, quick tip on all of our stations and stuff, if you are out in your cars, you got the Bluetooth, which any new car does nowadays. Use our app at ktcbroadcast.com, the big green button at the top. You can lock your phones with that app, and it'll still play with the phone closed. You don't have to worry about, like on YouTube, if your screen goes away and you're watching, it'll cut the sound and everything cut off. But if you use our app, you can connect your car right around anywhere in the world, Terry. If you got 4x4, can't you go over there and hunt deer somewhere and listen to us if you're out and about and out of the listening area. So if you're going to Colorado and you want to listen to the Swap Shop, I just gave you the best tip you can do. How about that? We've got NFL to talk about. Panthers, all kinds of. We've got a Panther fan in the house, Terry. So it'd be good to ask him some of his opinions on the bubble, the money coming in from South Carolina taxpayers into the team, the Ring of Honor. I want to talk about that. Terry XFL signed big contracts. We've got NASCAR to talk about. We've got PGA Tour golf to talk about now. I've got to rail on some of that in just a minute. Before we go to the break, how about we just start there and get that over with? In the PGA Tour Championship, Terry, I know I didn't text you this week, but on Thursday morning, I sent my 2 golf guys. And Ken, I don't know if I told you my theory, and Terry knows my theory from the Masters. I thought the Masters was completely the most fixed sporting event I've ever seen. I think I did text you guys. Send that to you. I don't think Tiger came back. He shot 2 under, and everyone else in the top 10 hit one in the water in the back 9. Koepka, because there's no out of bounds at the Masters, really, unless you hit one just absolutely terrible. There's no bad place. So the only place to lose strokes is what? Hit it in the water. How many players started hitting in the water there on 15 or was it 14 with the water there on the creek? The guy leading hadn't hit a bad shot the whole week really with his irons. I even text somebody like in round 3. I said, this guy's hitting the best irons I've ever seen. He hit that ball in the water on that par 3, and it was 168 par 3, and he hit it in the water as 143. How's a pro miss by 27 yards when he's hit every best shot he's ever hit? That's not one club miss.
It's pressure.
Yeah, that's a 2 club miss. So anyway, I threw out the whole fixed stuff on that. I thought that was definitely fixed, and then even made the point. I don't think he'll win any other major other than the Masters unless the PGA or U.S. Open throw one at him that's an easy course somewhere else. They said Bethpage Black. I said, he ain't winning that one. In fact, he didn't even do a warm-up for this one. Didn't play in Charlotte. Nobody played in Charlotte this year hardly.
No.
And that was bad. So that's not good for Charlotte. They've had some tournaments where every almost every player in the field
it was really
there.
down this year.
And is that because they
players.
moved this PGA up to where it is?
I don't know.
I mean, did that change it that much? The schedule, they didn't want to come to Charlotte for that. That's one thing I wonder about with that. So anyway, I text all my buddies, all my golfing buddies Thursday morning. I said, boys, here's my prediction: Tiger's not even gonna make the cut. And by God, he didn't. He's 17 strokes behind the guy he's playing with, Brooks Koepka.
Wow.
Brooks Koepka is just out and about playing better, and some people talking online. He's playing the way Tiger played when he was running away when he was hot. Now Koepka, if he wins this, he could have 5 championships now already? And if that's the case, he's halfway to 10, and only 3 people have 10 total, and that's in the last year and a half, Terry. Crazy how good Koepka's been playing.
And we knew he's good, and a lot of people when he first come around, some people was putting him down, saying he didn't do a lot of things, but Koepka to me is one of the most consistent players that there are. I mean, you got to put in Mickelson. I think he's always consistent, but Koepka, ever since he's come in, it's been like a total different thing for him. I mean, he's in every tournament that you have. He's always up there at the top. To me, he does everything correctly. He drives, he can putt, his irons are good. But, for this tournament here, I'm just amazed at how, and I know you're going to have weeks like that when you are over-exceeding or that much better than everybody else.
Right.
But I cannot believe everybody else is so far behind him. And, you have weeks like that, about like what you were saying about
this
Tiger.
Is the Tiger
Yeah,
Masters we
it
ran
was.
away and from 15 straight. There was people complaining online about the announcers whining about Tiger not making the weekend while Koepka's maybe breaking a record here in the 2-day record.
Here's my deal with it. I mean, do you lose fans now that Tiger's out?
There'll be, definitely.
You
there's
do.
gonna be
You
people
do.
that's not
Sure you
watching.
do.
No matter how good Koepka's playing,
But
a
whose
lot of
fault,
people's probably not going to watch it today. They might turn it on tomorrow.
And I blame that totally on the media, and that's what I was saying. Like, was it? I can't remember the guys, not Kyra, but one of the guys came back from 7 strokes down in that same tournament that Tiger won in the Masters. And if he would have won that, now that would have been a wonderful, great comeback. Tiger shooting 2 under and the leaders backing up to behind him. That's not a comeback. That's a choke job by the whole field. And that kind of worried me, how they talk about that. And then they talk about how great the comeback was. And we've seen Tiger be so good. And that was what I was saying. Like, don't tell these kids that this was a great comeback. Well, what we've seen has been better. And that's because we've seen better Tiger. We're not going to see what we used to see from him. Here's the top 3 group. Well, they're going by 2s. Top 3 today. Speeden and Adam Scott are -5. Koepka's -12.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He's 7 strokes ahead of whoever's in second.
I still think, though, Kevin, and
That's
this
crazy.
is me when I go back to the Masters, I don't think Tiger really put well, I guess he would have. He would have put a lot of pressure on the people in front when he's having pars and you're trying to stay ahead of him and you're only 1 shot or 2 shots ahead. Every shot you make with him still sticking right behind you, I mean, you got to understand that's pressure.
Yeah, but the thing I think about, though, is if you look at Tiger's history, he had never won a tournament in which he wasn't leading going
Right.
into the last round.
Right.
You should have been thinking about that and say, hey, let me just keep playing like I'm doing. He's not going to run me down. They didn't know.
Well, that's y'all's thoughts. My thought is seven of the final 9 guys were sponsored by Nike, and the PGA is going to make more money.
Sports cannot be rigged.
Terry, if Tiger wins that tournament, how much more money does the Masters make? Does Nike make? And does the PGA make? And if you look over at Molinari, Ken, be like, well, we're paying you $50,000 a year for the sponsorship this year. You come in second in the Masters, we could probably pay $1 million. What I mean. Hit 1 ball in the water, now Tiger wins by 1.
The only thing about those conspiracy theories is, like Terry said, in sports, you got to have a lot of people involved in it. And
For that to happen.
For that to happen.
said
That's the way I look at
I
it.
said 7 out of the 9 finalists in the Masters were
Well,
Nike
I'm just
sponsors.
saying, that is
The one guy that's allowed to wear red on Sundays, and the rest of them are out here in white, like they're out here.
But I mean,
they're out here for Mother's Day to watch this guy shoot 2 under and beat them. But
I guess on stuff like that, though, you have to sit back when you see teams who, okay, we're just going to give up the season to finish last, so I can get a number 1 pick.
Yeah, Terry, who
you know,
in 2001, who won that race in Daytona in the middle of the summer?
Yeah, I agree.
Huh?
I agree.
Who won that race in 2001 in the middle of the summer? You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Dale Earnhardt Jr.
I
mean, I know.
Yeah.
I mean,
Tim Donaghy, NBA. So, big news. The other big news in the PGA. Here's what we haven't mentioned yet. We've got to talk about. At -2, tied for 10th, Gastonia's Harold Varner.
Well,
The third. Sorry. He's got a 150 tee-off time. He made the cut, so is he better than Tiger Woods?
in this tournament, yes.
yeah.
I mean, that's the
As
facts show
of
that.
today, he is. Yes.
And if that's how we do these things, you know, Tony Romo beat 7 pros last weekend with
Oh,
the
my
Byron
lordy.
Nelson.
Oh my God.
7 pros Romo beat. And Romo, and here's the point, Ken, I was telling Terry, he don't practice golf every day. Those guys do.
The only guy I knew
Those
out of that
guys
last 7 was, I think, Charles Howell. I think
Yeah.
it was the only
He beat
guy I
Charles
knew.
Howell the third.
Yeah.
He on he's on one of those shows on TV Land. Mr. Howell at the Gilligan's Island.
Yeah, Gilligan's Island. That's who
Charles
he beat.
Howell, that's who he beat. All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll talk some more serious stuff. We got to talk high school baseball here in a little bit. We've got NASCAR, NBA playoffs, baseball, and more. All right, JP, are you ready? Are you ready? All right. Now, Peyton, after this break, we're going to bring you in here, and you're going to be on gun duty. And what that means is when JP's not paying attention, you've got to shoot the window with the Nerf gun. So that's going to be your job here in the next segment, because JP might tend to, I don't know what he's doing right now, but he might tend to lose focus.
I'm playing solitaire on my phone.
See, I told you he'd lose focus. So Peyton, when you come in here, you're on gun duty. Ken will show you how to use a gun, and he might outfire you, but we're gonna let you with the Nerf gun. Go ahead with it. All right, we'll be back in a few minutes. KTCBroadcasting.com.
Hello, I'm Milton Baker, and I'd like to invite you to join me along with Danny Aker as we broadcast live this Saturday from the Faith Fair in downtown Cherryville. Faith Fair is a family block party. It's in the mini park with free food, free games, and free prizes. It's the sight, sounds, and smell of a fair midway. We'll be broadcasting live from 11 a.m. till 3 p.m. Sponsored by local churches and their members. So join Danny and me at Faith Fair this Saturday, May 18th in downtown Cherryville.
Dwight Fowler at Renato Automall in Shelby has done it again. This month, he has marked down a 2018 GMC Sierra 1500 truck by $10,000. That's right. Save $10,000 on this brand new GMC Sierra 1500 truck with crew cab, 4-wheel drive, and the SLT premium package. Hey, that's not all. Save over $7,000 on the 2019 GMC Yukon, and save over $6,000 on the 2019 GMC Canyon. See Dwight today and save. Renato Automall, 4423 East Dixon Boulevard, Shelby.
Is the cost of ink driving your profits down? Then listen up. Discount Ink Jet and Toner is here to help. Discount Ink Jet and Toner specializes in refilling ink jet and toner cartridges. Cut your ink costs by as much as 50% or more. Discount Ink Jet and Toner, located on 410 East Franklin Boulevard in Gastonia. 100% satisfaction guaranteed.
Now's the time to buy your new Kubota from Parker Farm Service in Kings Mountain. Right now, pay zero money down. Get 0% APR financing for 60 months. Come on in now for all the details. All for good on the Kubota BX Series, the Kubota B Series, the Kubota L Series, and the Kubota MX Series tractors. Again, 0 money down and 0% APR financing for 60 months. Get your new Kubota today at Parker Farm Service, 126 Bessie Drive in Kings Mountain. Dwight Fowler at Renato Automall in Shelby has done it again. This month, he has marked down a 2018 GMC Sierra 1500 truck by $10,000. That's right. Save $10,000 on this brand new GMC Sierra 1500 truck with crew cab, 4-wheel drive, and the SLT premium package. Hey, that's not all. Save over $7,000 on the 2019 GMC Yukon and save over $6,000 on the 2019 GMC Canyon. See Dwight today and save Renato Auto Mall, 4423 East Dixon Boulevard, Shelby. For 70 years, Harris Funeral Home in Kings Mountain has been serving this area with compassionate, unique, and professional services. Harris Funeral Home in Kings Mountain is independent and family-owned, providing traditional and cremation options as well as package options for all budgets. Harris Funeral Home in Kings Mountain offers personalization options to honor your loved one's memory, such as custom casket cap panels, memorial DVDs, memory portraits, fingerprint, and cremation jewelry. Harris Funeral Home, 108 South Piedmont Avenue, Kings Mountain, celebrating life one family at a time. Online at harrisfunerals.com.
Hello, and welcome back to Saturday Morning Sports Talk with Kevin and the gang. Back to y'all in the studio.
All right, I got to press the magic button there myself. Did forget to mention, coming up June 1st at the Riverbend YMCA Golf Course in Shelby, Shelby Golden Line 18th Annual Football Tournament, raising money for the football program, of course, over there. Four-person captain's choice, $75 a golfer, $300 a team. You want to sponsor a hole, it's only $100. If you want to get a sponsor and a hole, get $25 off. The package lunch is provided, mulligans, and raffle and other things given away. Close to pins, longest drive. Contact our KDC broadcast announcer, Brent Pasco. If you want to do that, you can PayPal and Venmo. Pay by mail if you want to get some information that you can contact us here at the station, and we'll give you that some of that information. It's June 1st. Odds are I'm not going to be able to play in that tournament probably because one of our Lincoln County teams guys is going to be in a state championship. We don't know where yet, Burlington or Zebulon, but coming up this week, we've got North Lincoln versus West Lincoln baseball, and I've got someone who works at West Lincoln and someone who's been to the last few North Lincoln games here in baseball, so we got some insight into this maybe. Should I call you guys experts at this, or what do I call you, Ken?
We'll accept that.
I listen.
I would.
Anytime
Great
I'm not
fans.
going to put Terry and expert in the same sentence together, but I will get close to it, and I'll give him the chance to say it. Terry, you hear her laugh from the other room.
Yeah, I heard that. But, even if you're not, don't get me wrong, this is where I work. That's what I do. I watch these guys come in every day. They believe in themselves over there, whether anybody else does. I mean, it's a group of guys. There's no outstanding athlete. They all play together. I mean, they enjoy playing the game. And it seems like no situation bothers them, whether they're in front or behind. Nobody gets nervous. I mean, we're going to play the game, and Coach Markley is doing a great job with these young men. And they believe they can win. I mean, hey, you got a great opportunity playing North Lincoln. What more would you want? For Lincoln County, the Western Finals is two of our own teams. I mean, to me,
this the biggest matchup, playoff matchup, in the three major sports history?
whoa, of all time. Yeah, that'd be.
Yeah, I mean, have we ever had a Western Finals between two Lincoln County teams in any of the three sports?
I think so.
I
Here's
don't
the
think
other
so.
thing to add to that. I think I'm correct on it. Neither North Lincoln or West Lincoln has ever played for a state championship in baseball, and one of them's going to.
No.
Yeah. Now West Lincoln did make the Western Finals in 2006 and 7, I think,
like
with Coach Alan Chapman. But and that was back-to-back year. One year I know they played East Rutherford. I can't remember the next year. But I just think it's phenomenal for us to be sitting here knowing two of our own teams are going to battle each other, and knowing one of us is going to the state,
Yes.
to represent Lincoln County. And, hey, if it's North Lincoln, fantastic for you. I'm pulling for West, but I have nothing wrong with anybody from North. Them guys have done a great job, got great pitching. And now that's what West Lincoln's come up with, great pitching here at the end of the year. And then when you look back and say, what have they done? West Lincoln got the number 1 seed out of the conference on account of how they finished. They both finished in a tie, but West Lincoln got it on account of position, wins in there. And then North Lincoln comes back and wins the tournament.
Yes.
So both of them have done everything that you asked them to do. And when you go to the playoffs, Ken, and you've watched North Lincoln play, there's always games that you win that you shouldn't win. You know,
Absolutely.
that comes down to this.
And North Lincoln had won the first round. They absolutely could have and should have lost that game, and the North Lincoln folks will tell you that. They were down 4-2 going into the bottom of the seventh. They scored 3 to win, but they were helped out by 2 errors. Once had the bases loaded and an 0-2 count
Had
on
two
the batter.
0-2s hit, I think.
And he hits him on an 0-2 count. The bases
Yeah.
loaded with 0-2. Like I said, wow. Forces in a run and a couple infield errors. Like I said, they got helped out a lot. And sort of woke them up, I think, because since then they played well. In fact, the last 3 games have all been shut out by their pitching. They've won 4-0, 10-0, and now 4-0 again. I mean 7-0 last night. So they're playing well and they're getting good pitching. West Lincoln, I haven't seen them play, but I know Moxley got the Defensive Player of the Year in the South Fork 2A Conference, which usually goes to obviously to a pitcher. He had a great season. I saw Moxley pitch for Post 100 last year after his sophomore year. He ended up being the closer for Post 100. This year he's been the starter and the ace for the Rebels all season long, and I'm looking forward to seeing him pitch.
What do you guys make of how the seeding worked out in these tournaments? But the 1 seeds in the 2A were both knocked out in the second round.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Yeah.
East and West. Midway in the East, East Rutherford here in the West. So that set up. Here's who played in this section round. So West Lincoln was a 13 seed against a 17 seed. West beat a 20. They beat a 4, a good, very good Franklin team. Then they beat a 28 Smoky Mountain team. The 28 Smoky Mountain had beat a 5 and a 12 to get there. And then you got a 17 and a 13 there. Now, over in the East.
Oak Grove's the team that beat East Rutherford.
Yeah.
Knocked them out.
Yeah.
So North Lincoln last night played the 11 seed, who knocked out the 3 seed. Well, that's in the West. That sounds crazy enough as it is. Have you looked at the East?
Yeah, the East.
Last night, the rankings were 7, 11, 4, and 16.
Yeah, and the 4-1, so that their highest seed is a 4 over there.
So the final 8, only 3 of them were top 10 seeds.
Yes, yeah.
I know in the Western bracket
That's
and the
insane.
baseball, there's only one number 1 seed that made it, and that's Jesse Carson in the 3A.
That's like Crest got knocked out before they even made it to play Carson.
And Jesse Carson took care of North Gadsden last night, 10-0.
Yeah,
So
10-0.
they only got a team. You're talking about the upsets. Interesting thing, the team that West Lincoln beat last night, the team that North Lincoln beat last night are both from the same conference.
Central Carolina Conference.
And they didn't win that conference.
They did not.
Guess who won it?
One of the teams.
Ledford Senior, who was the number 1 seed in the
3A.
in the East.
Oh, in the East.
In the East.
So they
got knocked off by Bung.
Sure
So there you
was.
go. I mean, there's 3 pretty good teams out of the same conference.
Well, Ledford ended up the 2 seed in the East to get beat by Bun 2-0.
Yeah.
Bun
knocked them off.
That's just crazy looking at those. So they're in the same conference. Those 2 teams are in the West, and that team
That's in the East, which that's that Lexington area, and that's where they split it. It just happened that way.
We love these players.
Well, when you say stuff like that, and people look at the West, Ronald Reagan, which is near Raleigh, is stuck in the West in the 4A.
That's a little crazy there.
You know, and I'm wondering how does that happen? You know, so
hey, don't forget we had 2 years ago where Bessemer and Cherryville both had to go to Whiteville for
sure
football.
did back-to-back weeks.
Whiteville in the West football. It was closer to our beach house, though. That's where we went and stayed than it was coming back home for that.
Last night, I saw where North Davison girls, who were undefeated, they had to play Franklin and girls 210-mile trip.
And you know, when you mentioned that, North Davison, as you said, were undefeated, but Franklin was a higher seed.
Yeah. I don't know how that game came out last night.
With
2-1.
With
Franklin
with
beat
the
'em.
Athletic Association bringing in over $10 million a year and only giving out about $500,000 in scholarships, shouldn't they have like an extra bank account for playoff travel for some of these? Pitch in, Terry. Small, any type of
maybe not the pitch in.
This
I think
nonprofit
they should
making $10
have
million a
something
year.
like this, and this is just my theory. I think by the time you get to, and I'm going to give up rounds 1, 2, and 3, but by the time you get to the 4th round, they should furnish you a bus.
I think so. You have
I mean,
earned your way there. I agree with you, Terry. You need a little bit of help.
You know, I mean, that's just me. Give a little bit of help. You don't have to do it 1, 2, and 3 rounds. Just in the 4th round. That means you're not going to have as many buses.
That's 4 buses per.
That's what I'm saying.
16.
So, you know, do something like that to help everybody out where they don't have to do it. I'm going to pay for this. This is what we're going to do for you.
It's not a bad idea.
I wanted to, Terry, you mentioned that 2007 year. I brought up the bracket real quick for you. West was beat by East Rutherford in that regional fight. Let me tell you the 4 before that, though. It was West Lincoln against Ledford. Ledford was 21-7 at the time. West Lincoln was 16-9 at the time. They made the playoffs at 13-9. Beat Forest Hills, North Rowan, Central Davidson. Beat Ledford, who would be in the East now. I guess they moved on the map, Ken.
Well, they was West last year.
Maybe they built a new building down the street and made them East. So West Lincoln then faced East Rutherford, who East Rutherford won 16-4, and East Rutherford ended up winning the championship, the state championship that year.
You know, I want to sit down when you talk about
Real
this. And
quick,
we talk.
Shelby was against East Rutherford on the other side of the bracket, by the way.
Yeah. When you sit down and match them up, is Ledford further east than North Davison and Oak Grove? Or are they further here? Or how did you set that up? I mean, I would like to know myself.
Yeah, because that whole conference is 2A.
Yes.
So they had to draw a line in Lexington.
I mean, there's about 10 teams in that conference.
10 teams, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not the.
And they're all
map
2A,
maker
so
on that one.
that was interesting how that worked out.
Looking back at bringing up some of these brackets, Terry, they're not even these older ones are pictures of some of the old brackets. There's the one.
And I want to mention one other thing about those two. That conference, don't get me wrong, great conference, great season for all them teams. But Oak Grove and North Davison, y'all, they played each other the first 2 games of the year. They played back-to-back games and never played each other the rest of the year. And they finished 2nd and 3rd in that conference. So that was amazing to me that you have a conference play, which I know there's a lot of teams in there, and that can be matched up. But that you played them on February 27th, then you turned around and played them on March 4th. And I was like, that is wild there. And then you never play them again the rest of the year, you know.
That's 18 games. That
And
you
they
don't have
split.
a lot left to play non-conference.
Are one of those good at basketball? Because you know how sometimes
North Davison is very good in girls basketball.
You know, because sometimes you end up changing those games. Like in Lincoln County, when East makes it a certain way, we have to move a baseball game or something.
I'm one of the first ones to tell you when we had to go to North Davison, I knew we was in trouble when they was warming up. I was like, this is not good.
Terry will bail off that bandwagon real quick here, Ken. This is the 2006 bracket. West Lincoln defeated Bandy's, who got a bye in the first round, it looks like. And after West Lincoln beat West Stanley, then they beat Salisbury in the second round. Well, they beat, I don't know how they did this bracket. It's kind of weird reading that. They beat North Stanley, so they beat both the Stanleys. Then they got to Forbush and got beat by Forbush is where they got to that year, Terry. And Forbush looks like lost to North Lenore. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You ever heard? I don't. What's North Lenore?
I don't think they have a team now.
I was
That's what I'm
about to say, I
saying.
hadn't
But I
heard.
know. I mean, you know how high schools change. I mean,
In that league we talked about at Central Carolina, they got about 4 or 5 Davisons, East, Central, West, North. I mean, it's.
Just be glad.
now
just
isn't
be
North
glad-
Davison and Oak Grove the one that they kind of split? Oak Grove
I think
took
so.
some of
I
the
think so.
kids from
I think
North
so.
Davison. So.
Hello, Terry.
Oh my!
Look what we
This
got
is the
here.
main. I'm gonna tell you what.
Look
This
what we
is
got
one
here.
heck of a coach coming
Look
in
what we
here.
got here. You want to sit down and
I
talk to us a
have-
minute? Come on, sit down and talk to us.
These are mine.
Terry, you just brought Terry 2 boxes of donuts.
See y'all.
Let's make sure the mic's on.
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Ken Link.
Welcome to the show. We've got Cherryville Ironman head football coach Tim Pruitt. Just brought Terry 2 boxes of donuts.
I want-
like Terry.
Hold on,
Not
man.
just Terry.
I want to tell you a story that happened this year. Coach Pruitt, he brings his team over to West, and I have to say, and Coach Pruitt, It's never that I have to, shake your hand and say, hey, I'm the ref. I'm the umpire. So I walk out there and
Girls
I walk
T-ball.
by, and he looks at me and he goes, Terry, you know who I am, right? And I said, yes, I know who you are. And I kept on going. And he was like, and I know nothing against it, but I'm like, I got to be neutral here. I mean,
That's right.
He says that. Did you? Was you listening? What he? No, he didn't. You didn't hear the story in the break.
oh, well, that's
No,
a
I
whole
hadn't
different
heard
story
it. I
there.
hadn't heard any stories.
He threw. He tells you how he has to be neutral, and he threw out a coach on the second batter this past weekend.
I understand. It happens.
The
It
second
happens, sure.
batter in a game, Tim, that was 35-1.
In the first inning.
35-1.
35-1 game.
Sounds like a Cardinals game lately.
Yeah, my teams have been losing bad lately this week. I've got my 0-2 Trailblazers shirt
Yeah,
on, and
you
my
did well.
Cardinals lost 2 this week too. If you lose 2 to the Braves, your season's over.
The Braves are turning around a little bit.
It might
They are.
be. Everybody's turning around. I buried the Red Sox a few weeks ago. Then they win like 7 straight.
They'll be back.
Cardinals had the best record in baseball for a day, and then went like 2-15.
That's right.
I have no idea what they're doing, Terry, on that. Tell us about the donuts. What's going on?
Doing a fundraiser today. Anybody in town like to head up to the McDonald's? We got some guys working the corner up there, and we pre-sold about 125, and we had about 200 to sell this morning. So we put a good dent in them in the first 30 minutes. But I wanted to get over here and tell you guys how much we appreciate you and bring you a couple boxes. of donuts this morning.
I'm sure now Peyton might not want any because he just ate 9 pounds of pancakes. So I'm not sure if he's going to want the donuts.
I figure y'all are Mitchem's Kitchen this morning.
We've already had our biscuits, but there's nothing like a donut to follow up those biscuits.
no.
Terry, he's got them.
Amen.
JP,
I'm offering it 10 cents.
Terry's about to tuck him under his arm like a running back over here. We got football practice coming up.
We've
what
had
got
spring
going on?
practice has been going on.
Yeah.
We've had 8 practices. We've had, we give out 42 pairs of helmet and shoulder pads.
Okay.
We've had 34 different guys show up for a practice, and this week our biggest number was 28 for a day.
And
So
those are.
we've had a good first 8 days.
I think our team had 25 my senior year.
Right.
Uh,
Well, that would
and
be every freshman, sophomore, and junior.
So it's good seeing these numbers and
Yeah.
come up in the summer and everything. And I know you guys got to get and the kids. It's hard for them to understand the football. It just shows up. You just can't show up in August and not be prepared for it.
It used to be that way, I think, back when I first started coaching them 25 years ago. I'm getting my gold card this year, so I know I'm getting old. If people don't know, with the High School Athletic Association, you coach for 25 years, they give you a gold card, and you don't have to go to the clinic no more. And you can go to any sporting event you want.
20 years isn't good enough.
I'm
You gotta
looking
go
forward to
25.
making a few North Lincoln, West Lincoln baseball games this week.
Yes.
Congratulations to both of those teams and those schools. And it's neat to have that in county, and there'll be some great crowds.
What do
It
you
will
think
be.
about so we got the football season. We argue about the seasons all the time. These baseball seasons we're just talking about, of the 8 final teams, only 3 of them were in the top 10. We had a 2, a 4, and I think a 7. And everybody else was. How do you think the seasons in these max preps is it affecting the baseball or football differently?
You got to beat everybody to win. I mean, just matchups are matchups.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was at the game last night for the last 3 innings. I was way down the right field line. I have no idea what they were talking about, but I got a feeling some of the Oak Grove batters were like, "Man, I'm having trouble seeing that ball in the sun." And but that umpire wasn't changing course. But you get little things like that, and you have home field advantage.
yes.
I mean, everything goes. And a team with 2 good arms. It sounds like West has got a team with 2 good arms. When you have a pitch count, you can't just ride one pitcher for a whole game and throw out there 130 pitches or whatever it takes to win. So, I think that's evened up the playing field a little bit. And I think with high school baseball, just like any other sport, there's more people playing travel ball and other things throughout the year, and I think the playing field's getting more even each and every year. I see y'all got a bracket pulled up from
That's 2000.
many years ago.
This was the
2000.
This is the 2001. We
Yep.
did. Who was the school we didn't know a minute ago? Lenore Senior.
Yeah, just Lenore County.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who are
But
they? What is that now?
Williamston is not Williamston anymore. They combined with oh golly, my mind's not working. But they're in Martin County. I do know that because I used to go to football clinic there all the time. But they partner with a local school, and they're no longer Williamston. But they were the number 1 seed this year.
Okay.
So whatever school that is, I did notice that, but I can't think of it right
Yeah, this is a 2001 bracket. I brought it 2006 and 7. Terry wanted to see the West Lincoln baseball brackets, how far they had advanced those years. And I was looking back because we was talking about how in baseball, North Lincoln, they shouldn't be here. And we felt that way our senior year. We got beat by a Bandy's team 2-1. We didn't even pitch Mason to start. He came in and when he came. This is when he came in with bases loaded. They had no runs. We're up 1-0, and they got 2. I'm talking Texas leaguers off the end of the bats, right over the third baseman, one right over the first baseman, and that won the ball game off of Mason.
Right.
So just the smallest little things. You never know.
And that we was talking about that first round. Everybody's got usually one good arm. And you get out there in a pitcher's drill in the first game, and a one play here or there goes against you, and you've lost. Although you may have a great team, it would beat them probably 5 out of 6. But that one game, hey, you're going home.
That's true.
Well, can you say that? So Shelby won the 2A championship that year. Cherryville won the 1A championship that year, and we're in the same conference and beat both of them. We lost in the first round.
That's what you got.
And we've got the state's all-time strikeout leader over here.
And we was talking about North Lincoln this year. They were down 4-2 going in the bottom of the 7th, and they won 5-4. But they scratched out 3 runs on a couple errors by the other team, a couple hits batters, one of them with the 0-2 count. I mean, they were helped out a lot. They were lucky. Well, sometimes you got to be lucky, and then since then they played really well.
Coach Pruitt, who you got coming up first? When's the season starting?
Well, our season actually is different. We had scheduled Bunker Hill first, but they have added Christ the King out of Huntersville to our conference. So we're playing them the very first game of the season at home, and it'll be a conference game.
So no Bunker Hill this year.
No
That's
Bunker
been
Hill.
the first time.
Well,
in a
yeah,
long time, right?
we played Bunker Hill, and then the last 4 years for realignment we did.
Right.
So we've got back to it. Patrick Clark is up there, Cherryville coach. So we thought that'd be a good thing. But then when Christ the King come in, they had to move the schedule in the conference around, and that was the only place they would fit for us. So it also changed our schedule too, because we play Highland Tech in our open week, which is the 5th week. So we'll play Christ the King, Highland Tech in our conference, and then we get Thomas Jefferson, Mountain Island Charters.
Is there 2 Bessemer games this year?
No, just one.
Just one this year. So
for the last game of the year.
Coach, I want to ask you something. When they did that, I know a few years back, and I might be wrong, but I think it was Mountain Island Charters that come in that y'all didn't play.
We didn't play because we couldn't
Yeah,
fit it. Yes.
that's what I thought. You couldn't fit them in.
That year was when we upset Thomas Jefferson, and we were really in line to tie for the conference championship because we weren't going to play Mountain Island Charter, and we had only one loss, but then we lost stub your toe against Pine Lake Prep. So that was an opportunity.
I think I remember talking about that. It might have been like a 3-way.
Yeah, it would have been a 3-way tie. Yeah. So.
Now, one more question for
yes,
you.
Sir.
You know, a
I
minute
need to get
ago.
out of here because I get
I know.
back to
Donuts to sell,
good.
Terry.
I know. But one more thing, when you talking about kids and you got every kid at school right now, do you ever run into a spot where when it comes to summer you lose some kids and then they come back, or do you find ways to go get them?
Well, in our summer we have 3 weeks in June basically after graduation, and then in July you only have 2 weeks because there's 2 dead periods. There's a dead period around the 4th of July always, and there's a dead period around the coaching clinic. So there'll be some kids that we won't see. I mean, there may be some kids who travel. One's going on 2 missions trips and a family vacation. Obviously, there's only enough time to get everything done. So we're going to miss some kids. We're just telling them to, hey, keep doing what you can do. Get out there, and most of them are going to work and do things like that, hopefully. But, we've really tried to recruit our halls a lot this year because we did lose a big group. And we're hoping that, we have a smaller senior class, but we have several kids, Jaden Blant and Andrew Bean, Dylan Harden, who have been in the fire the last couple of years, and they know what's expected, and hopefully they bring these other guys with them. So we're looking forward to a good year with the same 3 non-conference games other than Bessemer. So we've got Chase, we've got West, and we have Drones. So we're looking forward to a competitive season, and hopefully one where we also have I think 5-6 good solid JV games scheduled, and I was just over at Chavis this week, so we got a good group of rising 9th graders, and really these next couple of years the 6th and 7th grade group is supposed to be a really good group as well. So we think the future's bright for our program for sure.
Well, good luck. Hearing from you some more. Where can we get donuts today right now? Tell everybody
at the
once
McDonald's, we're selling. We actually pre-sold yesterday, and then we're selling donuts for $10 a box. So if anybody like to come out to McDonald's,
in Cherryville,
there's plenty of players out there and some of our coaches. So we'd like to see.
All right, Coach. Thanks for bringing them by for us. We're going to enjoy these here in just a minute during the break. Thank you, Tim Pruitt, Cherryville Ironman football coach, stopping by. Have a good morning. Forgot to ask you what you're doing the rest of the day, but
Faith Fair
in
I heard
Cherryville.
it
Yep.
on the radio.
Yes, it is
I'm
on
in the
the
Duncan booth from 2 to 2:30.
Uh-oh.
There you go.
Uh-oh.
And after that, a couple senior football parties to go to.
So,
busy
folks,
day.
go get some donuts from Coach
Thanks,
here
Coach.
this morning. And then from 2, Terry, you done messed your mic up. What are you doing? What are you doing?
I
you
guarantee
pulled
I
it
can keep
off
that
the,
thing right
you just
here
pulled
with
it
me.
off the table. So go see Coach Pruitt this morning. Get him a donut, Ken. And then take your donuts to the Faith Fair. And from 2 to 2:30, sit there and eat donuts and watch people throw balls to dunk Coach Pruitt.
That's it. Hey, so you know some kids would like to dunk.
So
Coach Pruitt.
let me. I was about to say this.
Especially all that pain he puts them through.
Let me say this.
Yeah.
For you Bessemer City folks that want to dunk the Cherryville football coach
Yeah, there you go. That's
in a
right.
bucket of water, here is your chance. Like, the Bessemer coaches should be in line for this, shouldn't they, Terry?
They should.
Tell Coach Fox and everybody down there.
That's probably why Philip went out of town.
And Larry, come on over here. And Coach Pruitt, so we're just waiting on y'all. They're all good friends.
They are.
Of course, Coach Pruitt used to coach with the guys over at Bessemer and everything. So that would be funny if the Bessemer guys showed up.
That would be great.
With a bunch of a roll full of ones, Ken. We're ready to do this. Think about it. If you think that if the West Lincoln coach Tom Stain showed up, you think anybody from Lincoln would show up to dunk Tom Terry?
Well, they would. And you know what? I would come with my Bessemer City stuff on, like, this is who I am.
Oh, yeah, you would have represent. Yep.
That would be so funny.
If we cannot beat you out there, we're going to beat you here.
So what we're looking at, right, is a Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday?
Is that the schedule?
That's what the schedule
I
is
know
on the
it says
state.
21 through the 25th. What's the specifics, Terry?
I know it starts on Tuesday.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, it
and
has to
then-
be if that's the
Yeah.
day.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
But my question is, with baseball, shouldn't they have gave like a month or like if something gets rained out, are we gonna play 2 in 1 day thing or what's going to go on with that?
Well, my whole deal is how long do you have? What is your cutoff date that you have
Is
to
it
be
Monday,
ready?
Tuesday.
Yeah, I mean,
the on the schedule is 21st through the 25th, which would go all the way through Saturday. So I guess that would be your cutoff.
Right. It's Tuesday through Saturday on the 21st.
and if you
25th,
do
those
it
are the
right,
dates
it's
on.
Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. I mean,
so you skip a day in between
Yes.
each one.
And-
I didn't know whether one day you played maybe 2 games and then skipped a day. I didn't know how that worked. But Tuesday obviously is the first game at North Lincoln High School, West Lincoln against North Lincoln for the Western Regional Championship Series.
It's gonna be fun. So it should be Tuesday and Saturday at North. If it goes 3, Thursday at West. According to what we think and what we know, we will have that on on KTC. Now, also we're having Legion Ball, Ken, starting up. You guys start Sunday as well.
Supposed to start Sunday. I don't know whether Tim's going to be able to make it, so we may have to
Somebody
figure
will
out
be there.
Somebody will be there.
Somebody will be there.
But I think it's a 6:00 game. It's the first game of the season for Caldwell County, so it's at Caldwell County.
Okay, so y'all are going to Caldwell.
Caldwell is where we're going. So
Okay. Well, we may have.
Lincoln Cardinals, that is, against Caldwell.
We may or should have that game. And is Baker? Is that Baker and Anchor?
it is. It is.
Tell them come
Yeah,
on up here
thank
for a
you.
second. Tell them come up here.
Yeah,
Hey,
they.
Danny, come here. Well, we just got all kinds of people walking in the studio at one time. Come here and get on radio for a sec. He didn't want you to get on here for a second. I ought to get you.
We're liable not to get rid of you to 10.
You just happened to walk in. We was talking American Legion baseball, so I had to go ahead and get you a few questions. Yeah, you guys start up this weekend.
Started
right?
last night,
Started
didn't
last
you?
night.
Actually, I was over at Sims Park last night, and Cherryville won the game 13-3
Over.
over Gastonia.
Okay.
I knew that was the first game. So.
Cooper Same started the big right-hander with Coach Reynolds, and he really looked good. However, Gastonia was without some of their players
Right.
that played in the playoffs.
I stole him for a second. Pull the mic up to you just a little bit there, Dan.
Okay, all right.
And so we've got American Legion starting. Cherryville, of course, probably missing a West Lincoln player or two, and Lincoln County's probably missing maybe a North Lincoln player or two.
Maybe.
And,
Not too many of those play, but they're probably missing 1 or 2.
How's the numbers at
Yeah.
Cherryville? Because they're not too good in other places around here right now.
Last
It's-
night, Coach Reynolds had 10 players, played them
Wow.
all. He's missing Robbie Cowie. Robbie's in the playoffs with Catawba College. He won't be available for a week. some bad news you guys probably haven't heard. Coach Reynolds lost for indefinite period. The guy from Burns High School, and that's Zach Wilson. They call him Dub Wilson, catcher pitcher, hurt his knee, out indefinitely. Dylan Robinson got hurt in the final game for Cherryville, broke his thumb.
Oh my
so
goodness!
Two of the main players are out right now.
Does catch a thumb or throwing thumb?
The throwing thumb. Yeah, and he had an operation. He may be out 2 or 3 weeks. The kid from Burns High School I mentioned, Wilson, was going to be a backup catcher to Levi Kaiser. So right now, Levi Kaiser is the catcher.
Okay.
And it might be just anybody behind the plate, backing Levi up. So
how about Austin Prim? Is he still
Prim,
playing for Appalachian? Or
he is, but he aged out. So he
did he?
He will not be available.
I did not know he aged out. I'm sorry, I didn't know that.
He aged out, and I'd like to pass my personal congratulations to West Lincoln High School.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, North Lincoln too. I mean, they both have, to me, over-excelled this year.
Absolutely.
West Lincoln by far. I mean, a lot of folks thought North Lincoln would be one of the favorites. Nobody picked West Lincoln to be up there and do what they picked.
No, they picked them 4th. I mean, that's where they had picked them.
Well, I read the article in the Gazette today. Richard Walker wrote, and the coach there at West Lincoln said, "Hey, they're not picking us to go very far, but they picked us 4th, I think, right?"
Mm-hmm.
And so we'll see what happens. But he's made some absolutely great coaching moves this year, and I'm really, really proud of him. As much as I want to see the guys playing for Post 100, I want them guys to win the state championship.
Yeah.
Don't think they've ever won it. To correct me.
No,
they've never won.
They have never won it, and neither has North Lincoln.
Yeah.
So neither one have played for it.
no.
Right.
So this is something one Lincoln County team's going to go play for it.
Well, I will give them credit. I mean, Coach Jamie Ray, these assistants, and Coach Kyle Cornwall and Adam Floyd are the assistant, and Coach Markley is leading them the way. But these coaches have done one heck of a job, and the players believe in them, and the players believe in each other.
Now, you guys were there last night, I take it, both of you, right?
I was at North, he was at West.
Yeah. So were the big crowds at both?
There was big crowd, and I expected huge crowds this week.
Oh, yes. What more would you want?
What about Mooresville? I missed part of y'all's broadcast. Mooresville.
They won 9-3 in the 4A last night.
They're coming to Cherryville tonight to play Post 100, but they're going to be without the Mooresville players. You know, they Coach Reynolds told me yesterday, said Mooresville's coming Saturday with or without the Mooresville High School players.
Well, you know, there's another one. You talk about that 4A bracket. That's Mooresville against South Caldwell. That's not too far apart if you wanted to see those.
A lot of good baseball next week, right?
Yes.
Home cooking, you might say.
It is.
Yeah, a lot in the area.
Guys, I appreciate you having me on, Kevin. Thank you. And I've got to get uptown with Milton. Milton's over here hollering.
Milton's working too hard right now.
He is, and if I wait just a few more minutes, I
That's
think
it.
he'll have it ready. But y'all talked about
That's it.
y'all talked about the faith fire. I'm sure that we're headed to.
Coach Pruitt was in here and he mentioned that.
It did good.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
He's going to be in the Duncan booth.
Yeah. And one
Are you?
No Duncan booth. No.
What about Milton? There'll be plenty of people that
They
will want
should
to
put
dunk
Milton
the
in there.
announcers
That's
from
right.
all the phone calls we get on y'all.
I think we can make up enough money to put, if we could say Milton Baker going to the Duncan booth, would you contribute? And I think we can make a lot of money right like that.
You could. You could.
One other thing on American Legion Baseball, we're home tonight against Mooresville. We're home tomorrow night with Gastonia. Gastonia will have all their players since the North Gaston team lost. And we are back home Monday with Rock Hill. So non-league,
Milton, there may be some here too.
non-conference
if you
games.
can find any.
Is West Reynolds back yet, or is he still playing at Tuscan? I mean, it's,
Wes Reynolds is back. He went 3 for 4 last night.
Wow, that's what I
Cherryville
thought.
banged out 12 hits last night in that 13-3 win.
And that's without some players. Think of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Without
Going to get better.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I'm sure there's some Caldwell fans that like to dunk Milton in the tank. That's something he said over the years.
I mean,
I'm
we're talking about 5 right now. 4 right now. You got Cowie, and I don't know, Terry. Do you know whether any West Lincoln players?
There's Moxley. He played.
I know Moxley
Yeah.
and Willis and Dylan Smith. Anybody else going to play? You think?
Dylan
Berkey's going to play.
Mhm.
Okay, good.
And all them players will contribute.
Oh yeah, they will.
And of course, the way the Willis and Moxley are pitching, Coach Reynolds and both Coach Reynolds are going to bring them on slowly. So they threw a lot of pitches this year, guys.
Yeah, they have.
And you're thinking he's going to bring them slowly because Post 100 is in the state playoffs, if you guys know and mentioned. So you want to try to save some of them pitches for July the 26th through the 30th.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you mentioned one great big thing there. People don't forget our state tournament is here.
Absolutely.
Right here in Cherryville.
Sure is.
26th through the 30th.
And obviously, Cherryville Post 100 will be there, but there'll actually be 3 Area 4 teams in there.
Yeah, listen to this right quick before I go. There's a possibility of Shelby, Caldwell County, Cherryville being in that playoffs.
Yes.
Also, what if Area 3 winner would be Rowan County? Can you imagine them 4 teams playing?
And it likely will be.
It probably will.
Yeah.
But Kevin, go ahead.
No, I was just going to see if you got any other news and notes on the Legion season. As we're wrapping up high school baseball season, we got a big Lincoln County matchup this week for the state tournament. I want to thank Danny and Milton. I did have a guy come up to me last night and say he does listen to you guys. He does recognize yours and Milton's voice because we were listening to you guys on their phone at the T-ball game.
Yeah.
And so they come up. One guy's like, "Who's that?" And we told him the North Lincoln game. He said, "I know the Cherryville announcers, but he used to coach at Ontech. Andy, he didn't tell me his last name. Big old fella named Andy. And he just said that he knew y'all's voices. And so you do get out there, so he may want to dunk Milton. I'm not sure he
I
didn't
will,
get
guys.
into that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate
Thank
that.
you.
Yes, sir.
All right, we got to take a break, JP.
Milton said he's ready.
Yeah, Milton. All right, Danny talked long enough for Milton to get ready, to get all the equipment ready, and Danny's going to get out of here. JP, I know we got a big break coming up, folks. We come back, we got to talk all kinds of. I got some complaining to do about baseball and Mike Trout and all this other stuff. We've got to talk about the sporting news. Y'all remember the sporting news? The sporting news magazine.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I figured y'all two would. I was hoping y'all two would.
Yeah.
We've seen it before.
I know some folks haven't. There's not much of a magazine now. I guess all internet. But they've got a list. They listed the 32 quarterbacks in the NFL in order. And we're going to talk about that here in just a little bit. Like I said, I'm going to throw Mike Trout under the bus. We'll talk about some Yadier Molina. I'm going to talk about the loser Cardinals team that they are. My goodness. I just want to throw them under all kinds of buses, right? Since they had the best record in baseball, and I just guessed a minute ago talking to Tim what they went. They did go 3-12. They had the best record in baseball.
Yeah, they went.
They went 3-12.
Yeah, they just went down in a hurry.
Terry, you got some?
Well, I was just wanting to throw one thing, real quick.
I don't see how you read that.
It's easy to read. But in softball, I just want to touch this while we're getting out of this section. In the 1A bracket now, in the West final, I'm only doing the West, is number 1 North Stokes against number 3 Robbinsville. In the 2A in softball, it's number 1 West Stanley against number 2 Franklin. In the 3A, it'll be number 1 Marvin Ridge against number 2 Central Cabarrus. And in the 4A, it'll be Mooresville, number 3, against South Caldwell at number 5. And in baseball, this is what we got coming down. In the 1A, it's Roxborough County against Uwharrie. In that one, it's a 12 against a 10 for the West Finals. And in the 3A, it's Jesse Carson. That's the number 1 against Marvin Ridge, number 10. And in the 4A, it's Ronald Reagan, a number 8 against Mooresville, a number 11. And in the 2A, it's Lincoln County against Lincoln County with West Lincoln against North Lincoln.
Well, that's going to be a – I ain't even going to ask you for a prediction on that, Terry. I know we won't even get into that. We've got a great matchup this week, folks. We'll give you more info on that. And then Ken and Tim will have you more info on that on the Legion games here Sunday and Monday night. And then Tuesday, we'll have North Lincoln, West Lincoln baseball here on KTC for the Western Regional. I'm sure that's going to be a packed house up there.
I guarantee it will.
It'll be packed.
All right, guys. Y'all ready for a break in there? JP, are you giving Peyton all the instructions he could possibly need in life?
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh, okay. I paid him. Sorry.
I just finished explaining the midichlorians to him.
Oh, did you really?
Okay, it's break time.
Yeah, it is. All right, we'll be back in a minute on ktcbroadcasting.com.
Nobody's sitting here at Charlotte.
The Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series.
$1 million at the end of the line.
With $1 million up for grabs.
Topside Harvest getting a shove from Ryan Blaney.
NASCAR's greatest drivers
inches apart, wheel to wheel.
Are willing to lay it all on the line.
He clips Larson. He'll send Larson spinning to the infield track.
The Monster Energy NASCAR All-Star Race.
Let the pushing begin.
Saturday at 5:30 on the Motor Racing Network.
The Monster Energy NASCAR All-Star Race from Charlotte this Saturday afternoon at 5:30 on Carolina Country WCSL, 92.3 FM, 1590 AM, and online at ktcbroadcasting.com. Make your business or office a Boss or Carolina Country listener post. All you have to do is tune your radio in your business or office to 107.5 FM or 92.3 FM. Let us know and we'll put your name on the radio. And each month we'll have a drawing from area listener posts for a dozen breakfast biscuits from the Creekside Clock Restaurant in Shelby, along with coffee or tea. Area listener posts include Promotion Motors in Lincolnton, Cherryville Signs and Graphics, Lowe's of Lincolnton, Watson Carpet and Tile, R&D Mattress Center of Cherryville, Carolina Furniture Mart, Memory Lane in Krause, Watson Carpet and Tile, Davis Brothers Automotive, and Carolina Furniture Mart. So make your business or office a Boss or Carolina Country listening post today. Buy more, save more at Hendrick Appliance and Mattress Center in Shelby. Come in now and save up to $1,200 on select GE Profile appliance packages, refrigerators, dishwashers, ranges, and microwave ovens. Let Hendrick Appliance and Mattress Center put a package together for you. Again, save up to $1,200 on select GE Profile appliance packages. Buy more, save more at Hendrick Appliance and Mattress Center, 1241 East Dixon Boulevard in Shelby. Open 9 to 6 Monday through Friday, 9 to 3 on Saturday. Dwight Fowler at Renato Automall in Shelby has done it again. This month, he has marked down a 2018 GMC Sierra 1500 truck by $10,000. That's right. Save $10,000 on this brand new GMC Sierra 1500 truck with crew cab, 4-wheel drive, and the SLT premium package. Hey, that's not all. Save over $7,000 on the 2019 GMC Yukon, and save over $6,000 on the 2019 GMC Canyon. See Dwight today and save. Renato Automall, 4423 East Dixon Boulevard, Shelby. At Carolina Care Health and Rehabilitation in Cherryville, it's their passion that makes them different. Their goal is to return their rehabilitation residents home as soon as possible. Carolina Care Health and Rehabilitation offers 24-hour nursing care, foods prepared on site, private and semi-private accommodation, television and telephone, and even wireless internet. From short-term to long-term care, your care and safety is their top priority. For more information, call and speak with a representative at 704-435-4161 or visit the website at sandstonehealth.com. Carolina Care Health and Rehabilitation, where their passion makes them different.
Don't miss the Golf Shop radio show broadcast every Wednesday morning from 11 to 12. Hosts Mark Greenhalgh and Matt Blanchard talk golf from tee to green and everything in between. Welcome to the Golf Shop.
I'm Lon Helton, inviting you to join me as I count down the week's top 30 with Kane Brown, who tells me he just can't wait for the birth of his new daughter.
I wish I could just fast forward time and make her be here already. When we get back, I think we're going to start working on the nursery. I'll hopefully have a tomboy.
That's Kane Brown this week on Country Countdown USA.
Country Countdown USA with Lon Helton, Wednesday afternoons at 1 o'clock on Carolina Country WCSL, 92.3 FM, 1590 AM, and online at ktcbroadcasting.com. Make your business or office a Boss or Carolina Country listener post. All you have to do is tune your radio in your business or office to 107.5 FM or 92.3 FM. Let us know and we'll put your name on the radio. And each month we'll have a drawing from area listener posts for a dozen breakfast biscuits from the Creekside Clock Restaurant in Shelby, along with coffee or tea. Area listener posts include Promotion Motors in Lincolnton, Cherryville Signs and Graphics, Lowe's of Lincolnton, Watson Carpet and Tile, R&D Mattress Center of Cherryville, Carolina Furniture Mart, Memory Lane in Krause, Watson Carpet and Tile, Davis Brothers Automotive, and Carolina Furniture Mart. So make your business or office a Boss or Carolina Country listening post today. When you shop our local advertisers, be sure to tell them you heard it on the radio. That way they'll know that their radio dollars they spend works for them and you too. Even in today's fast-moving world, radio remains the leading media to reach more people. 93% of Americans listen to AM/FM radio over the air. TV viewership is 89%, smartphone use is 83%, and personal computer use is 50%. So if you're a business owner, reach more people with the power of radio. If you don't tell it, you can't sell it. See the power of radio. WOHS Shelby, WLON Lincolnton, WCSL Cherryville. Online at ktcbroadcasting.com.
For the latest from the world of golf, tune in every Wednesday morning from 11 to 12 for the Golf Shop Radio Show. Hosts Mark Greenhelge and Matt Blanchard talk golf from tee to green and everything in between. If you like golf, you're going to love Golf Shop Radio. Before you tee up, drop on in. Welcome to the Golf Shop.
Golf Shop Radio, Wednesday mornings at 11 o'clock on Carolina Country WCSL, 92.3 FM, 1590 AM. Online at ktcbroadcasting.com. Brought to you by Fred Caldwell Chevrolet in Clover, South Carolina.
Carpenter Porter Funeral and Cremation Services in Cherryville is there for you in your time of need. They're a progressive and comprehensive funeral service provider, promoting the highest ethical and professional standards while maintaining cost-effective service. Funeral directors John Porter, Scott, and Hannah Garrett are there to help you and give you guidance during one of life's most difficult times. For more information, call 704-435-6711. Located at 1100 East Main Street in Cherryville and online at carpentersfuneralhome.net, a member of the National Funeral Directors Association.
Attention homeowners. With more buyers than sellers, now is the perfect time to sell your home. For over 25 years, Moss Realty has known there is more to selling your home than placing a sign in the yard. To sell your home in days, even hours, trust the hometown specialist at Moss Realty. Satisfied customers have voted Moss Realty Best of Gaston the last 2 years.
Hi, I'm Warren Moss. When you're buying or selling your home, call the professionals at Moss Realty or visit mossrealty.com. Moss Realty, your hometown specialist.
We ready in there? Are we on? We're live and on, Terry. You're live and in charge.
That's good. I'm in charge? Oh, that's great.
Well, if you want to be in charge, start welcoming us back to the thing.
Yeah, welcome back to Saturday Morning Sports Talk.
Oh, listen to that.
That's it.
Be professional.
Sponsored by Mitchem's Kitchen, 704-276-1155. We all had our biscuits this morning. And we also had Coach Pruitt in here a while ago talking a little bit of football. And mentioning football coming up, I know August the 23rd, they got a big matchup, and a lot of people say nationally. De La Salle, the team that owns the most wins in a row, 151, would go against St. Thomas out of Florida, a 10-time state champion down there. So what a way to kick off high school football coming up. If you want to watch nationally, it is going to be televised. So if you want to watch it, hey, another good way. I mean, don't get me wrong, we got plenty of great football in our own area besides looking at those teams.
Absolutely, and a lot of good high school sports in this whole area, and we're excited when we get a playoff team, and you've got these local teams fighting for state and regional championships.
All right, I've got a trivia question to give away some Hickory Crawdads tickets. And you guys can write down your guesses here beside me.
Dallas Cowboys.
No, it's not the answer.
And the question wasn't who's going to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that is not it's not where the question I was going to ask. Albert Pujols joined the 2000 RBI club along with A-Rod, Henry Aaron, Babe Ruth, and I think, I can't never remember the last guy's name. You remember the name? Anybody can? Starts with a C. I'll pull it up in a second. But the question is, and this is courtesy of Calvin, Albert Pujols has got over 2,000 RBIs. Here's the question, folks. If you get 2 out of 3, I'll give away the tickets. Name the top 3 players that Albert Pujols has knocked in his career. Out of the 2,000 RBIs, name 2 of the top 3 players that Albert Pujols has knocked in his career. So think about that one. and we'll talk about some baseball. So, folks, 704-435-2844. 704-435-2844. Now, Peyton and JP, I'm going to have to give y'all the names here in a second, so if anybody calls in to win this, these are 4-pack tickets to a Hickory Crawdads game. So you got to name 2 out of the 3 people that Albert Pujols has knocked in the most in his career. Okay? I'm going to give some hints. All right? One's an outfielder, and the other 2 played multiple positions. And that's your hints for your daily trivia question to win Hickory Crawdads tickets. Ken and Terry are writing their guesses down. I'm going to give them to Hunter. I mean, Hunter's not here today. Peyton and JP. 704-435-2844. Now, after that, this week, if you're watching online, you see me wearing a bunch of Losers gear today. I've got my Cardinals hat on and my Portland Trailblazers shirt. My uncle's a Portland fan. That's where I can start pulling for the Browns from, Terry. So I got to support the Trailblazers here in the Western Conference Finals. They're down 0-2. I did pick 3 of the 4 teams to be here in the finals. I had Milwaukee, Toronto, and Golden State. And Ken, I even had Denver, and they blew Game 7 at home. So I almost got that right. Now, the baseball predictions have not went so well after the past week and a half. Cardinals had the best record in baseball, and they went 3-12 since. The Red Sox were 13-20, and they've won almost every game they've played since. So complete opposites, but Red Sox still in third. Cardinals fell all the way from the best record in baseball to 4th in the division. However, they still have a winning record. That's how good they were at one point to go 3-12, and now they got a winning record. But they're in 4th now. Out in the West, Dodgers, Diamondbacks, and Padres all have winning records. 4 teams in the Central with winning records. And in the East, the Phillies and the Braves. Braves now a 1.5 back, Ken. 1.5 back. What about them Braves this week after beating the Cardinals? Yeah. They got to play the Brewers this weekend. Then they got to go to St. Louis next week.
Yeah, they've come back some since they went out to the West Coast, and the Dodgers wiped them out for 3 games. But they're playing pretty well. They have a problem with the bullpen. They finally got Jackson, who's coming in and closing in the ninth, is doing a job. But the rest of that bullpen is really struggling.
You know, Ken, I mean, when we look at that division, Philadelphia leads it, Atlanta a game and a half. You know, the thing that I like about Atlanta is some of the young guys that they have.
Yeah.
Who was the kid that come up, Riley? Was that his name?
Yeah.
The young kid, second time at bat, and he hit the thing out of the ballpark.
Yeah.
You know, and everybody was talking about how many home runs he had hit, like in 3A and everything before he got moved up. But he is young, and the young pitcher, I cannot think of his name.
Well, they got 2.
Starts with an S.
Soraka.
Yeah, Soraka.
And the other young pitcher is Freed. Both of those 2 really good young pitchers are
not
really
counting of
doing it.
Acuna. But, I mean, you know, how young can you be? And they've already signed Acuna for that great big deal for 10 years that really nothing to keep him.
And same thing with Albies. They signed him and got him locked up for 5 years for a great contract.
Yeah, you cannot beat them. I know when I was watching them the other night, I'm like, when they was talking about how their ages and all of them's like 21, 22, you know, and I'm like, if you got this great kids coming up, I know when Carson was in here, he always kept talking about the young kids who were coming that's going to make a progress on this team. But very exciting for Atlanta Braves. And, you know, and last year they said they overdid what they thought they should do, and this year they bite back in it again.
Yeah, if their pitching comes around a little bit, I really like a lot of these young guys they've got. Some of the veterans have to step up. Turan's pitching a little bit better now, but like you say, those 2 young ones we mentioned are really pitching well.
And speaking of the Cardinals in their division, you know, like Kevin was saying, 4 out of the 5 teams have winning records in that one. And if you want to go to the bottom end of baseball, where we have the Miami Marlins and Kansas City Royals.
I was about to say, you going to Kansas City?
Yeah, well, you know, we're only 20 away from hitting 50 losses.
Well, this is how strong this division, the Central is, Terry, and we've been talking about for weeks. This Reds team have been losing game after game, and they're plus 25 run differential right now.
Yeah.
There was one point, Ken, where the Reds were like 10 to 15 games almost under 500 and dead last, and one of these teams up here in the American League was barely over, and they were near first. Well, there's the Indians. They're at 0, and they're in second place at 23-10. The Reds are plus 25 and are 5 games under 500.
Yeah, it goes to show you there's something to be said about learning how to win.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And you know that's where it's at. A lot
They've
of
given
times
up the
these
least runs the Reds have in the National League, and they have the second or third worst record, fourth worst record.
Yeah.
The Reds are dead last in their division. Only 3 other teams have a worse record than them, and they've give up the least runs in the National League. How has that happened? Hey guys, let's go out. We're going to play pitching and we're going to play defense. We're going to give up the least runs in the National League. What place are we going to be in last?
Yeah. I'm going to mention a player that is playing also, and he plays with Ulich, but Lorenzo Cain playing center field out there. You know, that guy amazes me. Every time you hear stories about him, because I know he went through Kansas City and won a World Series, and now he's with Milwaukee and all. But when you think about this guy never even thought of baseball until he was a sophomore in high school. And then he didn't know which way he threw from. He used right-handed glove and a left-handed glove until he finally figured out, well, okay, I'm right-handed. You know, and that's when you're a sophomore. And, you know, now look at him. If you think dreams cannot happen, they can.
Absolutely. That's called real natural. That,
It
you know,
is.
He doesn't find out until he's about a 16-year-old what hand to put the glove on, and yet he makes it to the majors. That's amazing.
So let me get into my Twitter war I got into the other day, Ken, real quick before we get into our next break after baseball. And I was just making a point. And we talked the last few weeks, and I like to get on the young kids about this WAR stat or whatever. It measures against this fake player that you've never heard of, and I'm going to give some silliness about this stuff here in a second. But value-wise, we'll ask Ken, which is harder, to play outfield or infield?
Infield.
Which is harder, to play outfield or catcher?
Catcher.
Can you win a World Series with the worst center fielder in baseball, or would you rather have the worst catcher in baseball? Which is more valuable, a really, really good catcher or a really, really good center fielder?
I got to say catcher.
All right. So when I ask someone over 30 that's usually the answers I get. When I ask the other ones, I get ridiculous things like Mike Trout's the best baseball player ever. They don't even say now. They don't even say on his own team or his own league. They'll say ever. And then one dodo here on Twitter, I'm going to get on him in a second. But, so the Cardinals, right? Of course, this is when they were playing good, of course. It's about 5 days
This
ago.
is what happens when you do
you tweet. See, it was actually 10 days ago. Here's the date. So Yachty, the great defensive catcher, who's also leading Major League Baseball in throwing percentages, throwing people out still after 9 Gold Gloves. I just said 9 Gold Gloves. Trout has 0. Albert Pujols has a Gold Glove at first base. And then this dodo will sit over here and tell me that center field is harder than first base, but whatever. Yadier Molina, after 20 or 30 games, whatever it was leading all catchers in RBIs, hits, and doubles. So I quoted the Cardinals tweet. I said he's also leading Mike Trout in all those categories, but we're not. But tell me more how an outfielder on a perennial losing team, according to WAR, is twice as valuable as a catcher on a perennial winning team. In his 14 seasons, they've only had 1 losing season. Yeah. And 1 losing season, and you can't say that's not because of him.
And he anchors that pitching staff every year. And here's the other thing about him. He's not like some of the other catchers that gets off every 4th or 5th day. He plays almost every day.
Every day.
Well, and the thing about Yachty, it's just so consistency. And I every time I come in here, I say he's the best catcher I've ever seen.
He is.
And that's off in the offensive part of it. It's his clutch hitting. So you can start looking at the numbers, and he doesn't walk a lot, and he doesn't strike out a lot. He puts the ball in play. And we talk about, before we started mentioning earlier, we talk about these strikeouts. Why is it okay now to strike out 100 times instead of putting the ball in play? And a catcher that catches 100 and something pitches a night, and then the outfielder catches 3 balls. Well, if the catcher throws somebody out at second or first, or stops a ball going between his legs, we don't look at stuff like that. So the silliness of these guys. So they went in. You know, I got all kinds of responses about how I'm an idiot. And one guy said Trout's 5 times more valuable than Yadier Molina. 5 times. And the only thing they can say, every one of them, nobody brings out any stats. They say, you're an idiot, this is stupid. That's all it is name calling. And when you name call, you've lost the argument, right? Isn't that what they do?
Oh, yeah. That's usually what you resort to when you can't win.
As soon as you start calling someone the names, you've lost the argument. So, anyway, one guy says you have to have learning disabilities not to think like this. And I'm just like, okay. And then one guy says, Trout is better than every Cardinal ever.
Oh, Stan Musial.
Ooh.
So let's. I mean, if we want to go there,
yeah, sure he is.
I didn't even want to go and see. I could do Pujols, and we do this, and he destroys his numbers, don't he, Terry? It's not even close. Yeah. So let's listen to this. For the first, Trout's played 8. He played half years first year and half this year. So he's played basically a total of 8 years. He's on pace for 11 years. That's how many Albert played in St. Louis. We're just going to keep it fair in St. Louis. So, the 8 versus – so he's on an 11-year pace.
The start of his career, yeah.
For 336 doubles. Albert Pujols had 455. He's on pace for 377 home runs. Albert Pujols had 445. He's on pace for 1,060 RBIs. Albert Pujols had 1,330 RBIs. Here's the one, and we talk about these strikeouts. Mike Trout is on pace to strike out 1,300 times in 11 years. Albert Pujols, in 11 years, only struck out 700 times. Now, let me tell you that, Ken. In Trout's 8 years, he's already struck out 294 more times than Albert Pujols did in 11 years. 300 more strikeouts, Terry, in 3 less years. So that's 100 strikeouts more a year, right? Than Albert Pujols.
And you have done nothing for your team when you strike out.
Nothing.
No, nothing.
No. If you get and people say, well, what about Pujols hitting into double plays and Molina? One guy was talking about hitting into double plays. I'm like, well, if the guy on first was still second, it wouldn't be a double play. And that's me being someone that like to steal bases. But, like, for real, get your fat butt to second. Hit a double. Which is more valuable, Ken? And when we talk about the walks thing, and when you look at WAR overvalues walks so much. If there's a guy on second, which is more valuable, a single or a walk?
Single, obviously.
What happens to the guy on second? We get a single.
He can score
if you got a walk, what happens? Like, does this
third.
not? This is not in the equation.
Your own base percentage gets better.
If there's a guy on third,
but in both.
Yeah, and that's what they look like.
They talk about
these analytics. And I looked at analytics and stuff, fantasy baseball. I look at that stuff. I take it with a grain of salt.
Right.
I test to me, and I look at things like, do you put the ball in play? Do you strike out? You talking about Molina? Early in the season, somebody had. I didn't get to draft him. They drafted him, and his average was low the first couple weeks of the season.
Right.
He was hitting the ball, wasn't striking out.
He puts the ball in play.
Put it in
he
play.
Swings.
Guy dropped
he hacks.
it. I jumped out there and picked him up in a heartbeat. And guess what? He started hitting. He's got what, over 30 RBIs right now. He's been hot. I'm just sitting there smiling,
Yeah.
Because I knew he was putting it in play. He wasn't struggling.
Yeah, and that's what Yachty will do. So, which is more valuable? If there's a guy on third, and one out, strike out or a fly ball to right field?
Obviously, you have a chance at score.
But is that equated in the WAR? And then the center fielders are more valuable in catchers than WAR.
Yeah.
How is that possible? Then they'll have the argument. Well, and then I've heard the argument. Well, it's harder to win a Gold Glove in the outfield. Well, how? There's 3 of them. And they'll say, well, that means every outfielder. I'm like, no. If you're the best center fielder, you'll get a Gold Glove.
Yeah.
The best catcher gets the Gold Glove. That's how it works.
That's the way it works.
So if you want to add 90 catchers into it, I'm sure Yachty will win one every year. But he's beating everyone. And okay, so how about Pujols? The strikeout thing is just insane to me. Trout's averaging 307 in his career. It's actually went down because he's averaging 292 right now. Pujols 328 in his career. On base percentage. Here's where they got. He's close, Ken. He's close. It's 420. Pujols 416. Slugging percentage. Pujols still higher. Runs. Here's the runs. He's on pace for. Everybody says What about Trout? He scores more runs than Pujols. Nope, he ain't even on pace for that.
They don't.
He's on pace for 1240. Pujols had 1290. Hits. He's on pace. He's not even on pace for 2,000 hits in 11 years. Pujols got 2,000 hits in 11 years. And then, of course, my thing is, he got a Gold Glove. And no matter what position you play that at, that means you beat 13 or 15 other people at it.
Yeah.
He also played right field, left field, first base, third base, and I was at the game, and he was drafted to play shortstop. He played shortstop one game against the Atlanta Braves in his career, and that's what he was drafted to play. And and the reason I asked that earlier, which is harder, infield or outfield, I wanted to establish that Ozzie Smith could play outfield with one hand. And most infielders, Terry, 95%, see if you agree, could play outfield.
Oh, yeah.
What percentage of outfielders could play shortstop?
Not a large percentage.
Or second base or first base?
Not very many.
When Babe Ruth got old, where'd they move him? They moved him first base or right field?
Yeah.
He started at first,
Yeah.
started at pitcher and first, then he moved into right field. So
the only thing Trout does more than Pujols is steal a few bases. But he don't
Right.
steal as many as he did when he first came in.
No.
That's slacked off.
And he gets more walks and more strikeouts. On the list, that is the only thing that Trout gets more than Pujols is walks and strikeouts. And you can value that however you want. So that was just comparing to Albert Pujols. So remember, this guy said, every Cardinal. And I can make the case, and we have with the Yankees, and I don't know other teams, the Cardinals. If you go position by position, Ken, I'll see what you think. Mike could have the best lineup ever. They compete with the Yankees. Molina at catcher. What if you put McGuire at first base and Pujols at third? Ozzie Smith at short. How about Rogers Hornsby? Maybe the best hitter ever, who hit 403 times. Average has the best average all time. I think it's 368. 424, the best season. Trout's better than that guy. Trout has never hit better than 326. Roger Hornsby hit better than 326 9 times. Trout has never hit better than 326. How about outfield? Willie McGee won an MVP. He might even not make the starting outfield for the Cardinals if you throw Lou Brock out there. Vince Coleman stole 100 bases twice. Jim Edmonds might be. Is Jim Edmonds a better center fielder than Mike Trout? I mean, I would assume so. He's about better than about anybody I've seen.
I give Jim Edmonds a lot of things. You talking about, I will give Trout a lot about going and getting balls. They both will go in. But I've seen Edmonds about destroy his body
He's
to get the
fearless.
balls.
He might be the most fearless outfielder that we've seen.
I agree.
Out there. So then, right field. Hey, Stan Musial's in right field, guys. So you Trout fans, be easy on this. And with all this, I'm not saying he's bad. So he's good. But this whole every player today is the best we've ever seen thing is not right, and it's just not. It's not how it works. So real quick, a couple fun stats for you, Ken. As far as the Mike Trout stuff goes, it's not fair comparing him to Pujols. I don't think. So I compared him to Ozzie Smith's offensive stats.
Yeah.
You ready for this one? First of all, Trout has never had. Let me go back to that. The Pujols thing real quick. Give you a quick couple of notes. Trout has led the league in runs 4 times. Pujols did it 5 times. He's led it in RBIs once. Pujols did it once. Walks 3 times. Pujols never led the league in walks. He's led the on-base percentage 3 times. Pujols did it once. Slugger percentage twice. Pujols did it 3 times. Total bases. This is the thing they're so proud about Mike Trout about. Once. He's led strikeouts in once. Pujols never led in strikeouts. He's never had a 100 strikeout season. How about total bases? Pujols has done it 4 times. He's done home runs, RBIs, batting average. No batting average titles for Mike Trout. Pujols has a batting average title. His slow butt has a batting average title. 330 seasons. Pujols 5, Trout 0. 40 double seasons. We're going to get back to that. Hold on to the 40 double seasons. Remember that. 40 home run seasons. Pujols 5, Trout 1. 100 RBIs. Pujols 10, Trout 2. Walks, 100 walks. They both have 3. 100 strikeouts. Pujols 0, Trout 6. 200 hits. Trout 0, Pujols 1. So that's what I want to mention. It's not fair, I don't think, and I think it's an insult to how good Pujols really is.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that because I'm a Cardinals fan. I like Mark McGuire, but Pujols is damn the best hitter they've ever had. McGuire's the best home run hitter I've ever seen. I mean, you ought to see them balls fly over your head by 50 feet when you're in the stands. But that 40 double season, right? So Pujols 40 double seasons, 6 Mike Trout has never hit 40 doubles in a season. How can you be the best player ever and you've never had 40 doubles in a season? I ain't even talking 50, 60. Hank Aaron didn't hit 50 home runs, and that's probably why a lot of people say he might not be the best ever. But he had 40 double seasons. How do you not have a 40 double season?
Yeah.
Now, as I said that, now remember, he's got 0 40 double seasons. Ken, Ozzie Smith, he's got a 40 double season.
I'm sure he does.
Ozzie, so remember, and that was about to be my one response. Be like, we can talk Pujols, we can talk Stan Musial, we can talk Jim Edmonds, we can talk Scott Rowland, we can talk Mark McGwire, we can talk Yadier Molina. I can talk all those if you want. But I'm going to start with Ozzie Smith has more 40 double seasons than Mike Trout. Doesn't that end that argument right there?
It does. It does.
If you ain't got a 40 double
I mean,
season, and Ozzie Smith
think,
does,
well, that shouldn't be because he's got the power and he's got the speed to get to second.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you're right.
he don't
do
hit.
it. Yeah,
It's singles, strikeout, or walk. And if that's what he wants to be, he's a good 2-hitter or a 3-hitter. Why don't they bat him lead off if that's what they want?
I'm like you. I don't. They either
in the American League, because you can put somebody in the 9-hole they could rake.
I don't know. I would have batted him. I'd either bat him lead off all the time, or I'd put him down in 3 or 4 hole. I wouldn't bat him second.
What about so 140 hits? And I know Ozzie played more years, right? But he had 10. People say he couldn't hit. He averaged 270 in his career.
Yeah. What nowadays that's respectable average.
Yes.
Nowadays
that's 50 points higher than Bryce Harper, and he just got $400 million.
Ain't that the truth?
How about 50 RBI seasons? Ozzie had 9. Trout's only had 7 so far. 100 RBIs. Trout 2-0. You talk about the stolen bases. We know what's about to happen when I say this.
Oh yeah.
30 stolen bases. Trout 3. Ozzie 11. 40 stolen bases. Trout 1. Ozzie 5. 50 stolen bases. Trout 0. Ozzie 2. 270 plus batting average. Ozzie couldn't hit, y'all. Did it 9 times.
Yeah.
Trout's did it 6 times so far. I know Trout hadn't played 9 years. It's been 8 years, but it's only 6 of the 8 years. And then he'll beat that probably. But you can't say Ozzie's a terrible batter and have 9 270 seasons and a 40 double season, and Trout don't have that.
Yeah.
So let's see if I haven't got any calls on the. We got to take a break, folks. All right, back to the trivia question before we go. After I had to trash Trout in this bullcrap for a few minutes. Just these they're just so silly. I like him. He can hit. He's a good player. I'll take him. But don't tell me he's more valuable than Yadier. No, I mean, come on.
No, that's two different things.
Yeah, the catching is, and I've give you this one. So I'm going to send this back to the guy that said the Cardinals players, no Cardinals player ever couldn't beat him. And from last year's stats, we took the overall averages of J.D. Martinez, Christian Yelich, Arenado, Mookie Betts, Bregman, Ramirez, Mike Trout, Carpenter, and Altuve. Matt Carpenter, on the average on all the stats last year was better than Mike Trout.
Yeah.
So, of all the players I just mentioned, career, I never mentioned who.
Never mentioned Carpenter.
Never even mentioned Matt Carpenter. He had a better season last year. J.D. Martinez had the best season in baseball last year.
Sure
Christian Yelich had the second, Arenado and Betts third, and Bregman fifth. Does that match up with your fantasy baseball?
It does. And I tell you, it's felt like J.D. Martinez. He's a guy, again, doesn't strike out that much. And this year, he's hitting really well. Don't have quite as many home runs, but his average still up there about 330. So he is a good hitter.
Yeah. Here's the question for you guys real quick. Is Trout the best player in L.A. this year? Is that the trick question?
Well, you're talking about both L.A. clubs, I guess you
Yeah.
are. Obviously not. Bellinger right now is probably
Bellinger leading Major League Baseball at 404, 16 home runs, 42 RBIs. The RBIs is tied for first. The 16 home runs is first. The hitting is first.
Yeah.
His WAR is 4.5. That is first.
And he steals bases. He's got 7 stolen bases.
7 stolen bases. Now, Trout's batting, he's 33rd in batting average. So that means, how many teams are in baseball, Ken?
32.
That means every team has a player batting better than the greatest player of all time. Every team in baseball has someone better batting than him. Now, that WAR is 3.0. Of the 32 people in front of him, only one person has a higher WAR than him.
Wow. Now that's amazing stat right there.
How about this? Of the 32 people in front of him, 4, 5, 6. Only 6 of them have 2.2 WAR, and he's got 3.
Tells you
so
WAR.
They ain't even close to
Yeah.
him.
Tells
Like,
you WAR
it's all
don't tell
about.
you the story. Yeah.
So let's see. What does Trout lead in? Well, he's 23 hits behind Bellinger. Well, let's find somebody. Let's go to. How about? Let's find someone who in the equal. See, he's got 9 home runs. Let's find the first person with 9 or 10 home runs. How about Javier Baez? 2.8 WAR. Less WAR than Mike Trout. Baez has more hits, more doubles. They both got 0 triples. No, he's got 1 triple, so more triples, more home runs, more RBIs.
And Baez is a much better defensive player.
So I remember,
so
these are the stats I just announced. These are the stuff that go down the scorebook, right? Baez has more runs, more hits, more triples, more home runs, more RBIs. Trout has more stolen bases and more walks, and his WAR's better. More stolen bases, more walks, more strikeouts, and his WAR is better. And you're going to tell me WAR is the ultimate stat? It isn't.
Not.
It can't.
It's not.
You can't sit there and tell me that when one guy's got more runs, hits, doubles, home runs, RBIs, and the other guy has more steals and walks, and he's better.
See, I don't understand how you can determine wins anyway. I mean, that stands for wins,
right?
Yeah.
Against your average player. I don't understand how they translate that into wins anyway. To me, I always thought that was sort of a screwy way of trying to describe a value of a player.
Well, put it this way. So Twitter's got what, 240 characters now? If you can't explain a stat in the 240 characters, you shouldn't.
Yeah,
it's not a stat, right? All right, we got to take a break. When we come back, we got to finish up the NBA and NASCAR. We're going to be off here by 10. Tim Johnson's in the house. He's about to get it rocking with Calvin in the game this morning. We'll be right back on KTCBroadcasting.com.
Is it time for a new roof for your home or business? If so, call Creason Roofing of Cherryville. Creason Roofing in Cherryville will meet or beat any competitor's pricing on a new roof. That's one of the reasons why they have been serving our area for over 40 years. Steve Creason, along with his wife, son, and daughter, all work together as a family and a team. They take pride in their work and reputation. Just call 704-435-1791 or visit the website at CreasonRoofingLLC.com. Like them on Facebook, too. That's Creason Roofing of Cherryville.
Join us every Sunday at 11 a.m. for our Sunday morning worship services. On WCSL 1590 AM and 92.3 FM, it's the Sunday morning service of First Baptist Church in Cherryville. On WLON 1050 AM and 107.5 FM, it's the Sunday service of the Covenant Bible Church in Lincolnton. And on WOHS 1390 AM and 101.5 FM, it's the Sunday service of the Calvary Baptist Church of Shelby. Join us each and every Sunday morning for our Sunday morning worship services on The Boss and Carolina Country.
Check out the new rates at the Crowders Mountain Golf Course, voted Gaston County's #1 golf course. Play and ride Monday through Friday for $28. After 1 p.m., just $25. Seniors 55 and older play and ride for $25 Monday through Friday, and Monday is Ladies' Day. Play and ride for only $18. And on weekends and holidays, play and ride for only $38. After 11 a.m. for $33. Crowders Mountain Golf Course. For your tee time, call 704-734-0383.
There's no one like you. And Pandora Jewelry is opening up all kinds of possibilities to show that to the world with the new open bangle. Beautifully crafted from sterling silver with new interchangeable end caps. You can mix, match, and even have the freedom to customize like never before. Shop the new open bangle from Pandora Jewelry now and do see the wonderful Pandora Jewelry. Available at Facet Foundry Jewelry Studios, 530 South New Hope Road, Gastonia. Online at FacetFoundryJewelry.com. At Carolina Federal Credit Union in Cherryville, they treat you like family because you are. Making the most of your money starts by managing and growing your money. Come by Carolina Federal Credit Union in Cherryville and learn how you can protect your money and actions you can take. Plus, they can provide you with hints and tips. Learn more by visiting their website at carolinafcu.org or drop by their office at 1200 East Church Street in Cherryville. Become part of their family today. Serving families in Cleveland and surrounding counties. That's Robert Morgan Funeral and Cremation Service, LLC of Boiling Springs. Robert Morgan Funeral and Cremation Service, LLC offers traditional funeral services, cremation services, memorial services, and graveside services. They also offer whole body donation services to several medical schools and research facilities at little or no cost to the family. Call 704-300-2343 or 704-538-8080 at rsmorganfsl.com.
And welcome back to Saturday Morning Sports Talk with Kevin and the gang. To y'all in the studio.
All right, welcome back to Saturday Sports Talk. The trivia question is, let's see if Tim can get in on the trivia question. I want you to write your guesses down in there, Tim. The trivia question of the day, folks, if you can get it, you can win 4 tickets to Hickory Crawdads game. Albert Pujols just got 2,000 RBIs. Name the 2 out of 3 players who are the 3 players he's knocked in the most in his career. 1, 2, and 3. That the tips are, one guy's an outfielder, the other 2 have played multiple positions, outfield and infield. So, if you can name 2 out of the 3 of the players that Pujols has knocked in the most in his career, I'm gonna give out tickets. I'm gonna give out the answers no matter what at the end of the show. We got to squeeze in some NBA talk. We got to squeeze in some some NASCAR schedule. Real quick, looking at those all-time awards, Ken, between players. So Trout's made the playoffs 1 year since he's been in the league. Since Molina's been in the league, they've only had 1 season they didn't have a winning season. Trout's
Is that not a shame, though, really, if you really think about that?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's the organization. Maybe you like where you're playing and you're satisfied. I mean, that could easily be the way. But only make the playoffs one time. And don't get me wrong, it's a 26-man roster.
No matter how good you are, you want to get to postseason and be a winner. I mean, that's what you want to do.
And here's the point on the outfielder, how good the outfielders help. Bonds didn't win it. He sat out there so good for so many years, moved to San Francisco to try to win, and he still couldn't win. King Griffey Jr., how many World Series rings does he have? So the outfielders, I don't think make as much of a difference, and I've tried to make that point. I'm gonna read you guys some more stats during the next break, just comparison's sake. Yachty in his career has 39 wins. He's in 14 seasons. He's gave 39 wins to the Cardinals. Mike Trout in his 8 years, according to Wars, 67. So Mike Trout, in less years with no rings, has contributed twice as many wins as Yadier Molina has in 14 years, handling all the pitching staffs and winning 2 rings. So there's your worst stat of the day. I just can't do that anymore. All right, I'm gonna have some fun tweets and stats here to go through in just a minute. First, NBA action. Guys, the Bucks are now 70-23 on the season. 53 of those wins are by 10 or more points. 53 of those wins. The next best record is 66-30. That's the Raptors was that. Bucks 10-1 in the playoffs. The next best record is the Warriors at 10-4. Largest point differential through the first 11 games in a postseason. 2017 Warriors, which was 2 years ago, folks, the first year of Kevin Durant, was plus 182. This Bucks team is the 3rd best all time at 168, only 2 points behind the 2001 Lakers and the 71 Bucks with Lou Alcindor and the 96 Bulls of Jordan, of course. So this Bucks team is scoring differential, guys, with the all-time Warriors' best team, Shaq and Kobe's best team, Lou Alcindor and Oscar Robertson, I guess that's Bucks team, and then, of course, the 96 Bulls. So, Terry, you saw them run through your Celtics. Are they going to be able to, with or without Kevin Durant, what are your thoughts on the Bucks' chances? I picked the Raptors to win the series. They haven't lost at home yet in the series. They're the away team, so they just pretty much got to win Game 7. But right now it's not looking good. Are the Bucks going to run through the Raptors, and then what kind of chance will they give the Warriors, you think?
Well, when I look at it, I'm amazed at what they're doing because they've really took Toronto, and Toronto's been on, a tailspin going backwards in this series, and Milwaukee's just dominated. I think Milwaukee's going to win in 6. I think Toronto will pull off a couple wins, but the first 2 games you'd think there's no way Toronto can even play with them. But, when you go home, everything changes, and I think Toronto will win a couple. But as far as the other side, I mean, y'all, I don't know whether Golden State, and I keep going back in years, we don't have Durant, we don't have Cousins, but this team has won a title without them anyway. And then them guys now are stepping up like, okay, this is us of old. Let's play a step up. And you talking about your Iguodala and Green are doing just the average things to make them. I mean, all of a sudden now, Iguodala, you can't leave him open from three-point range without him knocking it down now. You know, not to go along with Klay Thompson and Curry and everybody, but this team, I don't think there's anybody in the NBA that can play with Golden State, even with 2 players down.
Their starting lineup is really good. They only won by 3 the other night.
But without 2 players.
And what was impressive, I think, with about 6 minutes left, they're down 6 or 8.
Yeah.
And they finished it off and came back and won.
The thing they don't have right now is depth, because they got 2 starters injured, and then they didn't have depth before that happened. So Steph and Clay got a hit. They've got a hit.
Sure,
they both got a hit. Because if they both don't hit,
yeah, you got to get enough
they're
scoring.
going to lose. They're going to lose one of these games at Portland, if not both.
But now think about it. I mean, Thompson has really not been himself. When you've had Durant and everything, he's been giving the ball up and down.
Sure.
Now he's taking the shots.
He's taking shots because he knows that they need him to.
Right. And I don't see. I can't. I just want to know the exact details on this Durant injury, and we're going to find out.
Well, I saw something this morning that Kerr said that he's come along good and he will be back, maybe even in this
Kim,
series.
would you bring him back? I mean, here's my
I
deal.
wouldn't unless I
If
needed
I
to.
come up and I win Game 3, I'm not bringing him out unless we hit Game 7.
I agree with you.
I think that's what they're thinking about.
Yeah.
I don't think they will either.
More rest, the better he's going to be.
We don't have too much to get in that. I will kind of move fast here. We'll kind of talk a little bit too much about baseball, I guess. And we had couple of guests step in, Terry. So my space and time's running out. We got to get to the show here in a few minutes. Tim's going to get on. We may have to go a few minutes into overtime, but not too much. NASCAR All-Star Race tonight on WCSL 1590 AM. The coverage for us starts about 5:30. Clint Boyer's got the pole. Kyle Busch won the truck race. He's in second.
He's going to win at me.
Kevin Harvick, Austin Dillon's in fourth. Truex, Newman. Terry, what do you not see too much of there in that top 10? You got 2 Chevys in there. Jimmy made into 8th. Now, this is one of Jimmy's favorite tracks. But we've seen over and over at these mile and a halves the past 2 years that the Fords and that the Chevys don't have nothing for anybody in this. But remember, this is a 20-car race. There's going to be some people wreck out. And there's not 43 cars out there. Different things happen in this race than would at the 600. So I know you're a Kyle Busch fan, so you're probably going there. Ken, who's going to come home with $1 million tonight? I guess it is $1 million.
Truex has really been running well, so I think
he's been hot. That's a good pick. I'm supposed to have tickets tonight. They haven't come in the mail yet, Terry.
I'll probably sit back and not worry about them yet.
I'm gonna go see. Hopefully, Jimmy Johnson win tonight. I don't think he can. I haven't seen nothing from the Chevy guys to make me think that.
Well, they
said
can win. I heard the last race or so. They say that they're starting to figure out this package some, and they're getting better than they were.
They are, because you've seen a couple of. Yeah. They've had a couple of races where they've qualified pretty decent. And then just something.
But Jimmy, I think, is probably behind most of the other Hendricks as far as his team figuring it out.
He's got a new crew chief too. Yeah. You got to think about that. He's been in the sport, but hasn't been a crew chief yet. So.
Does you think Chad Canals is not making a difference over at Bowman? Yes, he is.
Yeah, he's been competing in a lot of the races.
Second 3 times.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Let's see. So that's the coverage for that. Sorry, we had to squeeze in some of this. I wanted to get to. Some NFL Panther stuff real quick before we go. Get Ken's idea on it. And since the hedge fund manager bought this team, I've kind of been giving guys the heads up that he's gonna be looking at the team based on red numbers and black numbers, not as much as his feelings as maybe Jerry Richardson did in the past. South Carolina taxpayers give $115 million to the Panthers to have their offices there. I couldn't get $50 from the South Carolina taxpayers to move KTC broadcasting studios down there, and so this is turning in. I think this is going to turn into a battle on this stadium issue. Are we going to have a Panther Stadium at Carowinds on the border, or is South Carolina? If North Carolina taxpayers don't pony up, I mean, somebody will, whether it's Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, or London, or I mean, the money's going to come from somewhere. This is a hedge fund manager, right, Ken? I mean, shouldn't they be kind of worried about maybe some of
what's
this?
What's interesting is obviously the South Carolina folks are not going to see as much benefit of just putting a headquarters down there and a practice field. So I'm like you, Kevin. What's coming after that in the future that maybe you can under the table say, hey guys, there's more coming and you will get benefit out of. It makes you wonder that.
Like if you're going to put a headquarters in South Carolina, well, why do I want to drive an hour and a half to the stadium?
Yeah, it makes you think about that.
That's the first thing I thought when they said South Carolina's going there. I think the first thing they're going to say, well, there's no room downtown. They don't want to. They're going to ask for the money downtown, and they're not going to get it. And then maybe Gaston County or York or Union, one of the counties right below South Carolina says, well, we'll give you an extra 20. We got all this land, and here's the thing.
There's a lot of land.
What did the Braves ask for? Why did they? One of the reasons they wanted out where they were, parking money.
Yeah, more room. Yeah, about parking money. Yep.
So we went through the era of let's move the Bobcats and Hornets and everybody downtown, to now they're going to move back out of town for the parking. The Charlotte Coliseum, we're going to have to rebuild the Joker, so they can own the parking. And because think about how much money the parking. I mean, some people pay more for parking than they do for the actual tickets to come in the game, depending on how close you park. So I just think the Panthers fans are in a battle the next 3, maybe 2. The stadium's over this year, so the new 2 to 5 years, Tepper's going to make some major decisions, and I think they need to be kind of looking out for that. I'm not sure how. Fans of other teams like Terry, do you feel like spending your taxpayer money on the Panthers building a stadium? I mean, what good does you do that?
I don't think you need to ask me that question because I got my own thoughts on what we're doing there.
That's the thing you got to think about. The South Carolina taxpayers are giving $115 million. If you're a Cowboys fan, do you have to give money?
I'm like you, these rich owners.
He's a billionaire.
Yes.
Expect the taxpayers to pony up, and I'm not for doing that if it'd be my city. I wouldn't.
Don't they buy tickets?
I'm
that's the job is to buy tickets?
That's their fans' support. That's how they support it. Why should I give you my tax money? That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
But what happened?
Let's say you're not a fan. I'm sure a lot of people don't care anything about football. They don't want their tax money going for that.
Yeah, but what does Charlotte do?
What if you're just don't even like football?
That's what I'm saying.
Let's just say that Carolina Panthers decides we're moving it out. Does Charlotte then go, we don't want 3A baseball, we want Major League Baseball? Yeah. We got plenty of room down here.
And knock that stadium down and build a brand new baseball stadium.
That's what I'm saying.
They could. Yeah. They could. Baseball could move in, and then the Panthers will be out at Carowinds. And I'm serious. I mean, they start legalizing betting like they are. South Carolina's already, more lenient than North Carolina is on all this type of stuff. Myrtle Beach Panthers would not surprise me in 10 years, I'm telling you. I mean, think about all the land down there. Waterfront Panther property, hedge fund billionaire. With gambling on the beach. Come on now. I mean, I'm being serious. I'm really not trying to troll.
Big tourist area already. You're right. Yeah.
I mean, this is some things you I might have to think about. Real quick, before we get out here, Panthers also named
Hall of Honor.
The Hall of Honor. There's one person they left off who consistently gets forgotten about, who I think, until they gave an MVP award to Cam, had the right to say that he was the greatest Panther ever. And I know, Ken, you're going to laugh at this probably. John Casey.
Well, he's a kicker, so they're not going to include him.
That's why.
I understand.
That's why they don't want to do it, because you don't want to give the credit for the kicker. But
he did kick it out of bounds on that kickoff in the Super Bowl.
Now let's think about that. That's what Panther fans will say. But what I'll say to that is, how many yards did the defense give up after that ball?
I know that.
How many points did the defense give up that game? The steroid infused defense from Peppers and the gang, and Todd Sauerbrunn was passing out needles on the bus.
Yeah.
Again, it's funny. I got a link here on my phone. It's called YourTeamCheats.com, and I've got it linked to the Panthers just to bring that stuff up. But anyway, no, seriously, John Casey was amazing that season. They won, I think, 8 games by 3 points or less. It was Casey. And you're right, he did kick it out of bounds, but they did give up 30 points.
Well, even if he did kick it out of bounds, most football fans are not going to go with a kicker.
Yeah. And I'm not even saying – I say he should be in the Hall of Fame. I think he's the best Panther ever. No,
I love Casey. Great guy, great teammate, but I'm not sure.
As far as ranking football players, no. But as far as the accomplishments and what he did, I think he was. Football players, Steve Smith and Peppers will always be probably the two my favorite on that. I don't think anything's better than Steve Smith for his size and what he did.
Oh yeah,
was absolutely amazing.
To me, he was what Keep Pounding was all about.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, you might not like some of his antics sometimes, but I always said if everybody competed like Steve Smith, them Panthers teams would have been a lot better back in the days.
The top 2 wide receivers of pushing off all time are Michael Irvin and Steve Smith, and if you could, and they get away with more pushing. I've seen
but like I said, they were out there to win, and they was doing everything they could to do it. I'd like to see more players be like that.
I didn't have a winner on the Hickory Crawdads tickets, folks. We're gonna have to do it again next week. All right, here's the answers. Are y'all ready?
We're ready.
Yeah, let's go with it.
Pujols 2,000 RBIs. This top 3
Number
people
3.
he's knocked in his career. Guess. Give me a guess.
I got Edmonds, Trout, Ozzie Smith. I don't know.
Trout is number 2 on the list. He is a top 3, so Ken wouldn't have won the tickets, but he got 1 and 3.
Okay.
That's the only one I guessed.
He never played of Ozzie Smith there.
I didn't take
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
My errors, I couldn't remember.
Well, you was like me. I sat back and
I
I'm
tried to
like,
remember when was he there,
The other 2 were from the Cardinals, but I don't know who they are.
They are from the Cardinals.
Yeah.
3 is, and when Dad asked me this, it was really confused me. I'm like, they never had a consistent player that batted in front of him.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm going to guess either one of the second basemen or something like that. And the answer is Skip Shoemaker.
Wow.
Is the third.
I never guessed that.
No, I wouldn't.
Now, here's what y'all had a chance to get. Who's number 1 that he knocked in? Trout's 2.
I don't know.
Shoemaker's
no
3.
idea.
I have no idea.
Come on, we got 3 baseball guys in here. Y'all can't figure out who he's
I
knocked
have
in the
no
most in
idea.
his career. How many home runs he got, Ken?
Oh, himself.
Yep.
Pujols himself.
Trick question. Number
Knocked
1, Albert
himself
Pujols.
in. He knocked himself in. You're
Jay,
right. There you go.
Yeah.
You said it come from Calvin. I should have known there was a trick in
That's
there.
why I gave y'all the hint. It was a trick
Yeah,
question.
that was it.
All right, guys.
That was the biggest hint that it came from
Oh,
Calvin.
my God.
I
Good job,
got it.
Calvin.
All right, JP, you ready for the break? We got to go. We got to put it on. Have you switched us over yet? Do you know how to switch everybody over? All right, I'll go back there in just a second. Real quick, before we go, while we're switching over, hold on. I want Ken to start reading this. This is from the Sporting News. I'm going to let Terry read it. Terry, start reading. This is ranking the quarterbacks in the NFL 1 through 32. I'll be right. Go ahead, Terry.
Number 32, Haskins. 31, Murray. 30. We got Murray in this thing already. Hadn't he played a down?
Wait a minute.
Number 30, Flacco. Number 29, Manning is at which one? Number 28 is Carr. Fitzmagic. Number 27, Dalton. 26, Josh Allen. 25, Foles. 24, Jackson's 23, Darnold's 22, and Mariota number 21. Jameis Winston's 20, Cam is 19, Cousins is 18, Stafford 17, Garoppolo 16, Trubinsky 15, Dak is 14. That's wrong. Number 13 is Watson.
Way down there.
12th is Goff, and number 11 is Wentz. Now the top 10. Roethlisberger number 10, oh my goodness. Mayfield number 9, Ryan number 8, Rivers 7, Luck 6, Wilson is 5, Breeze, Brady is number 3, Rodgers, and then Mahomes. Come on, guys. Mahomes played 1 year, and we gave him everything.
Think about that. So the Sporting News has Mahomes after 1 year.
He got Murray and he played a game.
Now Murray, he's got Murray and Haskins at 31
That's
and
what
32.
I'm talking about. No, he played 1 game.
Now here's what's silly about some of this stuff, and I'll get to it real quick. Joe Flacco, I got him at 30. He's won a Super Bowl. He has a winning record in the NFL by a bunch. No, he didn't, Ken. Wait. He is 14-5 in the playoffs, Joe Flacco. He's beat Tom Brady twice. He's beat Ben Roethlisberger, Chad Pennington, T.J. Yates, Peyton Manning. he's played against quarterbacks who've played in 27 Super Bowls, and he's 14-5 against them in the playoffs. 14-5 against quarterbacks, and they've got him ranked 30th. How about 29th, Ken? 29th is Eli Manning. 3rd is Brady. Who did he beat twice in the Super Bowl?
That's not the point.
Hold on.
What is this for? Like,
it's for discussion, obviously.
It's for us to argue about this.
I mean, when I look at that, the way I look at it is, who's won the most games in the last 3 years? Brady. Who's second? Dak.
That's the silliest damn thing I've ever heard.
And how many playoff
That's
games
what it's
did Dak
about.
won?
Wins.
That's the silliest thing I've ever heard.
Wins. Yeah.
1 and 2.
Yeah. But who's counting, right?
But who's counting?
We're talking wins. Wins.
So, real quick, how about so Brady and I want to talk about Brady and Eli Manning real quick. So Eli last year, here, great, they're right beside each other. Here's their stats. Eli Manning 66.0, Tom Brady 65.8. Brady, so they're the same, but Eli beat him. Tom Brady had 56 more yards than Eli. They both threw 11 interceptions. Brady had 29 touchdowns to 21 for Eli. So yards, everything's pretty much exactly the same. Everything, but Brady won the Super Bowl, and
That's
Eli
right.
didn't.
You know what
Brady's
Brady
3rd,
says?
and Eli's 29th.
You know what Brady says? My other 51 players were better than yours.
Right. Exactly.
You know.
All right, so we got to go, but they got Cam down here at 19, Ken, in front of James. This was a big discussion in Charlotte this week. In front of Cam, they got Cousins, Stafford, Garoppolo, Trubisky, Dak, Watson, Goff, and Wentz. Another thing that's weird for me, why is Wentz 11 and Nick Foles 24 when Foles has done better with the same team better over and over? I don't know that. Andy Dalton's got the exact same stats as Cam, like number for number other than rushing. Dalton's 26, Cam 19. Josh Allen's at 25th. It's like they just, I don't know what they did to make this list.
Well,
That's what I say.
Somebody's.
I don't know what they did to make that
When I saw Murray, mine was already messed up.
Yeah. So
Terry, he's 31st.
I could care less. He hadn't even played it down.
he shouldn't be on the. He shouldn't be on the list. Should be on.
All right, guys, we got to go. It's been a good morning. KTC Broadcasting. I want to thank our new intern, Peyton Worlett, for jumping in. John Prather on the board. Terry Reinhardt, thanks for Ken Lee to come in. We've got Legion Baseball this week. They're going to talk more about that on Sunday and Monday. Then we got Lincoln County Baseball Playoffs. We'll see you guys next week on ktcbroadcasting.com.
Hello, I'm Milton Baker, and I'd like to invite you to join me along with Danny Aker as we broadcast live this Saturday from the Faith Fair in downtown Cherryville. Faith Fair is a family block party. It's in the mini park with free food.